Lead us. Lead us, hombre.
Later.
Is music playing? I can't tell anymore.
It is.
It's very quiet.
Dancing to the backside of the TV dual mix.
I'll change. May I change the music for this thing?
Yes.
I can play the audio of the game.
I don't know.
Go for it, hombre. Save us from this hell.
No, wait. Mike says he doesn't know. He must be the Mike. What do you mean?
I don't know. It's just it was good. It was good music.
Yeah, it is. But
It's
yeah,
okay. I'll just.
I understand. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
What
it's okay.
What the fuck is happening?
like,
What?
dude, it's okay. You want to like express it out? Like, I'm here for you, man. You can talk.
It's fine.
You sure?
Just put your music on.
Okay. I'm
It's
sorry. I didn't want to do like. I didn't want it to be like this, dude.
What the fuck is happening?
Who knows?
I deeply apologize. I will make. I'll send Lemon my apology video to the channel. You know?
I made a severe and inconsequential lapse in my judgment.
Dude, today I couldn't even. I bet I can't even pronounce judgment. Last. Shut up.
Could we start or?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hombre, what the fuck is the Skullgirls?
It's
Yeah.
a girl with a skull.
Hombre, why are we back in your stand? Your stand that is a university.
Okay. Welcome everyone to Skulgirls 101. This is a mandatory course. I decided that for everyone. It's gonna be on the test.
What do you mean it's mandatory?
It's mandatory. It's obligatory.
It's gonna be on the test. Don't.
We've been hearing about this test for like 2 years now, but we haven't had one yet. Where is it?
Is
You'll be a Kahoot test?
professor's attendance mandatory?
Yeah, it is. And now that I mention it, thanks for asking. You can leave the classroom. You can leave the classroom right now if you're gonna be disrespectful to your fellow classmates.
Cool.
The teacher's speaking.
Thanks.
Please,
I appreciate the honesty from you. You get an extra point for being honest. Disrespectful.
Professor, what's the minimum passing grade?
More than you're gonna get if you keep talking.
Okay.
That's
Fair.
fair.
Yeah.
Professor, do you allow eating in class?
Sorry, I couldn't catch that.
Do you allow eating in class, Professor?
You're already eating, so I can't really make you spit it out because that would be gross. So enjoy yourself.
Is that how it works? Is that why we beat the system?
I mean, I'm not gonna make you puke it out if you're asking. You just fucking eat it.
Professor, can we get on with the lesson
What
now?
if I pass notes during class?
I like how Adam's original sin is eating on mic, and he still does it. Well, he mutes himself. So respect.
I commit to my sins.
So, thank you all for being here today and for letting me do this.
Oh no.
Professor, you're turning into a robot.
I was about to say that's my entropy. That's robot. Professor.
Professor wasn't human all along.
I don't think you can hear us.
Professor was supposed to be.
Guys, is the professor gone deaf?
That's awkward.
Just like the professor, just like on the ground, like having a stroke.
If it's a professor.
I don't think he's okay. Oh, he's gone. Oh, he's back. He's back.
It's like that one video on the internet.
Oh, I was about to scream anarchy.
No, don't. We don't.
Don't do it.
We have enough.
Okay, next. Next slide.
All right.
That slide too?
Yes. Slide two. First, we'll start with general overview of everything, which is what is Skullgirls, and the question is very simple to answer. It's a fighting game released in 2012 that by Lab Zero, which some people might recognize as the people who publish Indivisible. And they are well known for like for like great animation and attention to detail in their games, which you'll see and design.
Professor, I have a question.
Yeah.
Why are so many of the girls in their games have really thick thighs?
Well,
They
why would
like
you
to
ask? It's perfect.
They like to accentuate proportions in the game, as their style is kind of cartoony, and I like the style actually. A lot is very expressive.
It is good, yeah.
It's a design.
It's a design choice they do. Yeah, a lot of the characters are gonna be like pretty exaggerated on that, and that works perfect for fighting. That's a good segue. The creator of this fighting game, it's Mike C, who is a well-known person in the community of fighting games. He is a huge Marvel vs. Capcom fan, specifically Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and he puts a lot of attention to detail in his product. A lot of Skullgirls it's an ode to the classic fighting games like Street Fighter, like even Guilty Gear, even Blast Blues stuff you see here. Also general media that the fighting game community stuff. This lesson will be more focused around explaining the lore and the universe of Skullgirls and the backstory of the characters instead of like, because unfortunately, as far as we know, there's no canon part that happens in the game. Every timeline that we see is a different one in the arcade mode. So we're mostly going to focus on this set timeline. So,
Why is it like that, Professor?
Well, fighting games tend to have a problem with storytelling. The storytelling mostly comes from within the game. I don't know if that's the best way to explain it. Fighting games tend to be more match to match on the story wise. For example, one of the greatest example of it is in a new game called Grand Blue Versus. In there, you can see one of the characters who is like a low tier nobody in the lore of the series. Every fight ends up with him being just daydreaming about it, and that's a good way of storytelling, or like like when Ken and Ryu fist bump at the beginning of the match, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Or how people like Yamcha in Dragon Ball Fighter Z can beat Goku.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like you don't question how can
So
Yamcha
what you're telling me is that fighting games are stupid, but we like them anyways.
I like some of the method of telling. Like for example, Ken and Ryu have a good rivalry that it's mostly told. There's a couple good characters like Darkstalkers BB Hood, which is fucking great for storytelling. The concept is that it's a monster hunter that disguises herself as a little girl, and every match, it's because she fucking successfully lured a guy in, and her moves are like hitting like malicious intent by doing like girlish things, like hitting people with a basket, like pretending to trip over and stab someone, stuff like that. Again, storytelling in fighting games is very different from normal storytelling, which is good. I like it. It has its own niche, and yeah, the story within the Skullgirls game is kind of up in the air as far as we know, but the story before it and a bit during it, it's cool and I like it, and I think it sets up a good universe, which is why I really like it, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. Overall,
pretty cool.
Is idiot to past fighting games, but at the same time, it manages to craft itself a new identity and like a cool way. It's unique, and it has. Well, it's not the biggest fighting game community. As a partial member of it, I can tell you it's really active and really passionate, and they still support the game to this day. There was a recent patch, like less than a month ago, at the time of this conference, where they added a bunch of new skins. They reworked some character, not rework, but like balance patch a bit, and added a couple new details and stuff. It's good. It's very technical too, but it's also very easy to get into.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about fighting game communities is that a lot of it at first seems kind of gatekeepy, but a lot of the members are actually very happy to teach new players and teach them how to play, and are very open. And from what I've heard, the Skullgirls community is one of the best when it comes to that.
Yeah. No, the Skullgirls community is super open to new people. I didn't start at the same time as Skullgirls playing. At the same time that the major community, and I entered in much later. But I genuinely feel like there's great tutorials. There's great, even inside the game, it's designed to let people jump in. You can enjoy it at both levels, both really surface level and competitively. It's very technical, but at the same time, it's not so technical that you need to understand every tech in order to fully get your enjoyment out of the game. Like you can enjoy Skullgirls both at a super technical level or yeah.
Oh, hey, it's only $25 on station. I'm just gonna quickly put that in my cart.
Very cool. What's next, Professor Hombre?
Now it's time for lore. Actually, now that we established what it is, if there's any doubts at any point of the thing, you can just let me know. I'm sure they will come up.
This is slide 3.
Yeah.
Slide 3.
Yeah. I'm not perfect at explaining, as I'm sure you guys probably know. So if any doubt come up, let me know. Okay. Now, so the most important part of the lore, as you can guess for the name, it's what's a Skullgirl, and more specifically, what's a Skullheart. The Skullheart in this universe is a legend that every so often, every 7 years to be specific, this artifact will appear, and it will grant the wish to a single woman. One wish, any wish. The Skullheart itself will appear at random. We'll get more into the details of how it works as we move along. It grants a wish, and the legend says that if the person that makes the wish is not pure of heart at the time of making the wish, and the wish itself is not pure with intentions, then the person will be corrupted by the power of the wish and will create a Skullgirl. So, yeah.
Is there a reason why only a woman can?
Yes. I'll explain that as we move along. There is a very good reason. There have been times where men have found a Skullheart, and the Skullheart refuses to listen to them, which it's a good segue. Skullheart itself is sentient. It can talk, and it can convince people, and it will coerce people into trying to make the wish. If you find the Skullheart, it will try to convince you into it, which is and it will try to manipulate. Now, one of the most important things to establish is what counts as a wish, as a pure-hearted wish. And the question is, and the answer will be made, and the answer to that will be made very clear as we see our Skullgirls, and we'll get to that. The person that judges the wish itself is the Skullheart, and that's also very important because it's not like a general moral compass. It's the Skullheart itself that makes the judgment call.
Is that the Skullheart down there on the right?
Yeah, that's the Skullheart. That's how it looks.
What is a Skullgirl? Like what powers do they get?
It's kind of like what Madoka Magica rules. They get really good magic powers. They revive the dead. We'll get into why that is, and they become really powerful. From what I can understand and when I speculate, each wish adds a new power to the Skullgirl, and the next Skullgirl will get all the powers considered by the X plus the one that they got for the wish. We'll get to why that is in a second. You'll get to see why I think that is eventually, but yeah.
Is the Skullheart inherently evil?
It grants a wish. nobody really knows its purpose in humanity.
Well,
It's
you did
just
say that it coerces people into making a
Yes.
wish. Does that mean it's manipulative and like?
he
evil?
wants to grant the wish.
Or is it
That's his
its entire
purpose.
goal is to grant a wish, and he doesn't care how he does it. He just wants them to grant the wish.
Well, he wants to make a wish, and then he makes a judgment call on the people. Like he finds a woman that they find appropriate, and then a good person, a good individual, and they coerce her into making a wish. Any person will do, really. They just want to grant a wish.
Does the wish
It's more like
be granted if they aren't pure of heart?
What?
Is the wish still granted if they aren't pure of heart, or does the
Yes.
wish not go through?
Well, the wish is granted, but they will become the Skullgirl. Depending on the wish, this is important. Depending on the wish and the nature of it, it takes different amounts of time before the people can become a Skullgirl. This, like, say for example, if you wish to become powerful, you'll immediately become the Skullgirl. But if you wish to, I don't know, save your whole family or something, or like, and you know, you'll take a bit more time to become it, since the wish is not completely, like, you can resist the corruption for a bit, depending on the nature of the wish, of how corrupt your wish is.
Has a Skullgirl ever resisted for more than 7 years?
No, it's very hard to resist it, depending on the wish, really. It's kind of a countdown. I think the longest we've seen a Skullgirl resist one, the corruption has been around a year or so after making the wish. Someone else had a question.
Is there a limit to the amount of power that the skull thing can grant wishes?
It usually doesn't. It's like genie logic. It can do basically anything, but it does it in weird ways. We'll get to why. We'll get to, like, we get more examples of wishes being fulfilled later on, but just like, it's like a genie thing. It can do anything. It can do anything, but it will do it in fucked up ways, kind of, or like not the way you expect. But it's basically all powerful, by all things considered, just not in the ways that you'll want it to.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like to mention this sounds like a very complex way to justify your cast being majority female. Like, I don't mind it because I like all the girls in the cast, but still.
Yeah. Now we'll move on to the backstory of each of the characters. Now that we establish a bit of the lore, these are ordered in chronological order, which is the way that they were introduced in the world and when they appeared. So you move on to the fourth slide.
Slide 4.
Yep. You'll see there. We'll start with one of my favorite characters of the game, which is Big Band. Big Band's very inspired by big mecha characters and RoboCop, as you will make apparent. He's really cool gameplay wise. He's a big, heavy dude that does a lot.
Got a fucking horn. Hombre. Hombre.
Hey, yo, teach.
Hey, yo, teach.
Go teach your robot.
Hey, yo, teach. I don't think he's okay. I think he's dying. He's dead. He's dead. There, he's gone. What are we supposed to do now?
Anarchy.
What is one to do when a professor dies?
Anarchy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, never mind.
You good?
Yeah, it's just whenever I start going robot, the only solution is to me to like get out of the chat and then come back here. So yeah. Anyways, so we go to the first member of the cast, one of the only 2 male characters in the game, which is Big Band. Yeah, his real name is Ben Birdland. He was a police officer around, I'll say, like 15, 16 years ago, from the start of the game. He's been a police officer for that long. He was a very old school police officer, the typical noir police officer that monologues to himself and does things by the book. He was a police officer in a city called New Meridian in the Kingdom of Canopy. It's a very big metropolitan style city, and yeah. However, New Meridian's also very corrupt, and the primary family, it's called the Medici family, which is a big mafia that runs the whole city underground. There are former governments and there are a proper government and royalty system in it, but the Medici family, it's an underground organization that runs the whole city basically. It's corrupt and it's on the eyes of every police officer. Ben Birdland at the time. He was kind of a rookie with his partner Irvin. Both of them managed to get a big hint on a big Medici illegal casino one night, and they both, what do you call it? And whilst the chief told them that they will handle the stakeout themselves, Birdland couldn't resist and went there anyways. And he single-handedly arrested the whole Medici, because he fell in by surprise. However, by the time when the backup arrived, the stakeout, Birdland found out that the whole police department has been bought out by the Medicis, and including the chief, and that ended up resulting in the chief ordering the man to brutally beat Ben Birdland to near death. The only reason why he survived was because he was taken to the hospital by his partner Irvin shortly after being beaten to death. There are images of him getting brutally beaten, but I'm not gonna do it here. You can see there, that's Hope. The first guy, the one handcuffing in the very front, that's Ben. And the one on the back, the other officer, that's Irvin, that's his partner. This is the night of the arrest.
Do we know what happened to Irving?
Yeah, he comes back later.
All right.
He comes back later at another point. Don't worry. Yeah. Big band. Next slide.
Next slide.
Next slide.
Slide 5.
Yep. Okay. Now, after being brutally beaten within an inch of his life, he fell into a coma and got taken to the hospital, and that will have been the end of Ben Birdland. However, a doctor came in called Dr. Avian, presented himself as part of the Anti-Skullgirl Tab, which is a governmental organization that makes plans to abolish the Skullgirl. One of the important things of the government in this world is that they're too preoccupied on stopping the Skullgirl in general, because, well, it's a world-ending thing that happens every so often. Skullgirl is often like world-threatening. The entire world can be added. So every government's more focused on finishing the Skullgirl than managing their politics, which is managing their own government, which is why the families like the Medicis and everyone can take over a city so easily, when I suppose with just a bit of money and influence, because the government doesn't really regulate that, since they're more focused on everything, and all their fundings go towards ending this world-ending creature called the Skullgirl.
I mean, to be fair, like you know, if it's a world-ending creature, I don't blame them.
It's a fair compromise to make. However, you really see how that affects, the over-focus on the Skullgirl threat really affects some characters, specifically people related to the Medicis, and you'll see as we get later on in the world. The Anti-Skullgirl Labs they're experimenting with a new program which consists of grabbing people who are fully handicapped or will die otherwise, and turning them into bioweapons. making them cyborgs or making them basically fighting machines that turns them into that makes them anti-Skullgirl weapons, which is the code name of them. They're divided in various labs around the town, underground labs. They go from 0 to 8. Dr. Avian is the head of Lab 8 of the anti-Skullgirl labs, and he offers to rebuild Ben. And well, since Ben's out of commission, Irvin agrees, and he gets turned into what you see down there, which is Big Ben.
Big tuba
Dr.
man.
He's based around orchestra music. Most of his attacks. He's the giant mech man. That thing he has around his head, around his mouth, is an iron lung, which is a bagpipe actually.
Fucking nice.
Yeah, it's cool. All of his equipment and stuff are like musical equipments. Like he can summon like trumpets and he can summon trumpets. He can summon like horns, a bunch of stuff. Like everything that's a musical instrument, he can summon it.
You haven't acknowledged. I want to mention you haven't acknowledged it yet, but fucking Skullgirls is a fucking really good OST.
Oh yeah, no, it's training.
It's all based around that kind of 50s aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Noir.
It's based around like movies and every aesthetic. Every character has its own unique poster for like a movie theater, which I added in. That's original to the game. That's a thing that they did as a way to present them, as like almost if you're going to a movie and you're seeing the. But yeah, Ben. What Ben does with this is he becomes a detective with his new mech powers, and Dr. Avian, what he does, and this is specifically to him as head of Lab 8, this will become relevant to again. He grabs like stuff he knows, like he's a fan of classical music, so that's why he built like Ben around instruments, and like anything he's a fan of or like he knows intrinsically, like that's what he bases his creations around. And you'll see that more as we go along in another character. Like it's all stuff that he knows. But
I feel like being a tuba man is inherently disadvantageous.
He's actually really strong. He's
Well, yeah, because he's a robot. But if you were a tuba man normally, then you wouldn't be.
I mean, have you seen the memes of the guys like with like armor made out of tubas?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like more science fiction shit.
Yeah, I know.
Around the armor, and like he has a move based around JoJo's Bizarre Adventure where he summons a bunch of what's the name of this thing? Like flutes. His arms are flutes or like trombones, and he summons a bunch of them and he auras you into it. It's cool.
I've seen the humiliations people have taken.
Yep. Big Ben's a very big dude. He's very tanky. His playstyle is very tanky. He's kind of slow, but he still can get some combos. He's not really good in the air. He's a fun character. He's a cool character. He's a cool character. What? I didn't understand.
Someone said something. I don't know.
It was Mike.
You can play the trumpet mid-fight.
He can. That's the thing.
He has a move where he can play. Oh, he has a whole mechanic built around. Yeah. He has a whole mechanic built around playing. He can pull out a flute, and the buttons you press while the flute is out will actually affect the notes, and you can play actual songs. This is not necessary to play the game, but people learn it to like style on people. Like you can play. I've seen people play the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure music, the Evangelion opening, stuff like that. Like all of that just to get a cooler combo.
Just style motherfucker.
Yeah, you're gonna notice a lot of fighters are gonna have like mechanics based around them to make them feel like more unique around everything. That's pretty cool. But yeah, that's Ben's backstory. He serves as vigilante now. He serves a typical detective style. He narrates to himself. He says, yeah. He goes around solving mysteries and does everything. A difference from other labs, Lab 8, specifically Dr. Avian, is very lax with keeping in check the creations he makes. and he lets them like do whatever they want unless there's a Skullgirl. If there's a Skullgirl, it's business, but like he lets them like do wherever they want. Like Ben went back to fighting the Medicis for a bit before realizing there's bigger threats, which is the Skullgirls, which is the Skullgirl. We'll get to, which is the Skullgirl, and instead deciding to become like a vigilante, stopping minor crimes and stuff. He's very powerful. He has, and you'll see, he has lots of experience. Him being the first character in the timeline, should be proof of that. But yeah, he goes by the name of Big Band because of his music. Inspired.
Because he's a big band.
Yeah, he's a one-man band. He's very much based around jazz and just general detective noir stuff. But yeah, he's pretty cool.
Can we get a big hand for Big Band? I said big hand one singular. Fucking nice. What's next, Hombre?
How does a one-hand clap sound?
Silence.
Yeah, no, that's actually a proverb used by Buddhist monks to make people ponder about it. It's pretty cool.
I'll tell you what a fucking one-handed clap sounds like. That's me slapping my thigh.
No, only your one hand. Anyways.
If you
next
slap
next
the air enough, you can one hand clap.
Yeah. It's not meant to have like a proper question. It's like a Buddhist thing that people that make.
Hombre, you're talking about Buddhism while there's a fucking mecha robot band guy on the screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways,
it's just a fun fact. Yeah. That's the story of Big Ben. He'll become relevant throughout the rest of the game. He's a big dude with a mean dude. Next slide, so we can.
And don't be rude.
Is that a ghost scarf?
Don't be rude. He isn't rude.
It's just a scarf with faces on it. I don't know what you mean.
That's a ghost scarf.
Don't worry about it.
I don't know what to tell you. That's a ghost scarf.
Don't worry about it.
Oh wait, I know what happens.
I've never seen more of a scarf ghost.
Don't worry about it.
What do you mean? That's just a scarf.
I don't know what you mean.
I'm sorry, Lemon. I just don't see it.
No, that's not the one.
That's not.
No, I need to put Skullgirls on it.
That is Vincent Diamante.
No, we're not on Cerebell yet. Yeah. Okay. So we go on to 14 years. Big Ben has been active for 2 years. 14 years before the game, before the beginning of the game. We move on to a family on the also New Meridian called the Continellos. They are a very influential family. They have a lot of standard in society, and the head and it's currently the birthday of the head of the wife of the head of the Continello family, named Celine Continello, who is a famous singer. The Continello family, it's a very famous family, which is really associated with the Medicis. At the time, they were kind of like their second-hand man. They kind of like ran everything for them.
Mm-hmm.
So Celine Continello is there. She's throwing a party with her family. Robert. I don't know if we say it in Spanish or in English. That's what fucks me up. Roberto Continello and Sienna Continello, nicknamed Squiggly, at the time by her mom. they're all holding a party at the big expensive Continental Mansion, and Celine's greeting the guests and everything, and then a mysterious guest, which is the women you can see there standing, approaches Celine and gives her a gift, and then asks her for her to open it so she can see her eyes when she sees it. And as she opens it, she finds the skull heart, which is the skull heart is well known in the universe, and she immediately freaks out because this is like one of those things that they warn you. Like, this is history knowledge. Nobody.
This is like you use this, you become the devil. It's like imagine like something like that. I imagine.
I'll tell you, like the legend goes that every 7 years the skull heart appears, and it grants the wish of a maiden. If a maiden is not pure of heart, and the wish is not pure of heart, they become corrupted and become the skull, who will bring destruction and end to the world. Yeah.
So the picture, the character that we're seeing on the screen is the guest who gave it to her.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the guest who gave her the heart.
Ghost Scarf Lady.
Celine Continello speaking out about it, and the guest disappears as she tries to no, please don't, I don't want this. She loses the guest in the party and she disappears. And she decides to keep it hidden and dispose of it after the party because it will look too suspicious if she does it during the party, and keeping it secret from her family, so nothing can be avoided. However, somehow the Medici family heard about the skull heart being at the party, and they sent a top enforcer on it and immediately bust in and open fire on the whole people, under the terms that the Continellos had betrayed them because they had the skull heart.
Wait, it says that the enforcer was called the Black Dahlia. Is that a reference to the murder?
Yes, she's named after the murder.
Right.
She's a character we'll get to later.
Right.
Black Dahlia. Black Dahlia is the top enforcer of the Medici. You just need to know that for now. She's very ruthless and she's very headstrong. We'll get to her in a second. But yeah. Black Dahlia is there, and she leads a squad of Medici gunmen, and they gun down everyone at the party. Except they take hostages Sienna and Roberto. Roberto has what it's called a parasite, which is it's an ancient creature that people in high standing socially tend to have, and they bond with a host. They work like Guilty Gear, kind of like, you know,
like Zato 1.
Yeah, they bond with a host, and they both become intrinsic, and they can be removed from each other without killing the host in the process. But they give the host powers, and they give the host more ability, and they become one with them. They become kind of human when they do. They're very rare, but they tend to be around the skull heart at many points. They're kind of, but yeah. Roberto has a parasite named Leviathan, which is kind of like a snake. It's a snake creature that roams around your neck and protects you from stuff. It's kind of like a guard dog parasite. But even then, they get overwhelmed by the amount of Continental forces, and in the process they shoot Roberto in the stomach and grab Sienna as a hostage to convince Celine to give them the skull heart. Celine is about to do it, but then Black Dahlia gets provoked by Sienna, calling her a Medici dog, and she shoots Sienna in the face at that moment. And Celine, in a moment of desperation, uses the skull heart to wish for her family to be back. And in the process, she becomes the skull girl. The skull heart becomes part of her, and then she becomes the skull girl. You can go to the next slide to see how she looks as a skull girl.
Next slide. Oh damn, those are some big skeleton hands.
Giant skeleton hands.
Yeah. Big bony claws.
Because her wish was to revive the dead, a lot of her motif around skeletons and stuff. And as we established, Skullgirl will have like the powers of the past, so she revives everyone once she becomes a Skullgirl. Every corpse around the city becomes a slave and start obeying her orders. Skullgirls are really powerful because of that. From this point on, every grave, every cemetery becomes an army for her, and she plans on using her new powers. The reason why she becomes a Skullgirl is because the Skullheart tells her your wish is not out of wanting to preserve your family, it's out of wanting to protect yourself, and also you do it out of revenge. You're doing it out of revenge, or you're doing it to get more power. So you're not pure of heart, and your wish is not pure of heart. Get turned into a Skullgirl. It's the Skullheart is kind of bullshit when you will see why, and his reasoning, his judgment. It's genie rules. Yeah.
Shit
Go to
sucks.
the next slide.
Shit sucks.
Yeah. Even like a wish about protecting your family and everything, it's not made with the specific purpose and true intention of doing it for the people, and not because you felt guilty that you caused their death, or because you wanted to get revenge. It will not be considered a wish of pure heart. You can kind of start to see why the skull is kind of bullshit with its judgment.
Yeah, that seems like bullshit.
Yeah. No, the Skullgirl is pretty bullshit with its thing.
It seems really judgmental.
That's just a general thing. We'll get more in detail on that. The Skullgirl is pretty much, So we go to the next slide.
Yep. I've seen her.
So.
Yeah. Any minute now. It'll happen.
Oh, no, I'm just answering a question. Yeah. So, before Sienna gets revived as a zombie slave, Roberto uses his last will to order Leviathan to bond with her. Leviathan is that weird snake you can see coming.
Yeah.
He's actually coming out in that picture out of the bullet holes that Sienna got shot at.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how he uses. that's how he bonds. He usually like coils around you like a scarf. He did that with Roberto, but with Sienna, she uses that because he needs to use his power directly on her in order to keep her from becoming a minion of the Skullgirl. So he is the one helping. She gets revived as an undead thanks to the Skullgirl, but she retains her sentience and doesn't become a minion of her. Squiggly and Leviathan promises to uphold the Continello name for the rest of his life, and to Roberto, and then he bonds with her. In the process, everyone survived, everyone at the party, everyone in the city. Every dead person becomes a part of the army. And Celine, now the Skullgirl, goes in a tyrant around the city to destroy everything the Medicis have built. In the process, Sienna's looking at the destruction her mother is doing and contemplating really what to do. Because she doesn't want to, like, it's her mom, but she's also like destroying the whole world, so it's kind of like it will be a dick move to not intervene,
Yeah,
Yeah. And well, Sienna ends up meeting Big Ben, who has joined with a ragtag group of people. Big Ben, so far, it appears he's like one of the only anti-Skullgirl weapons, like actual anti-Skullgirl weapons at this point in time. More will be introduced later, but he's the main one, and he joins with people that want to kill the Skullgirl too. Among them, we'll get to some of the people in there.
Alright.
Oh shit! I just came back. We'll get there when we get there.
How long were you gone, Mike?
A bit. 5 minutes.
That's pretty long bit.
That's fine. The PowerPoint does a good job.
That's the point of a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
But Jay.
Hee.
Very funny.
From meeting Big Ben and the rest of the Ragtag group, she finally decides to put an end to the Skullgirl, even if that's her mom. She and Big Ben and everyone else defeat with the help of the head of the Medici family, Lorenzo Medici, and Black Dahlia, who they were being attacked by her. Lorenzo wasn't afraid, by the way. He was just like laughing about it, like, yeah, fucking come at me, dude. In the top of his building, standing there menacingly, with Black Dahlia at the side, which was rare. Everyone was surprised by this because he's just a dude. He's just standing there menacingly. However, they all win, and in the process of defeating the Skullgirl, Squiggly's reanimation is stopped, and she goes back to being dead. Leviathan promises to keep part of her body, and Big Band and everyone else decide to keep her a secret so that she doesn't become like a tourist attraction, and she can rest in peace with the rest of her family. And yeah, she died. She comes back like undead every time a new girl is founded. She becomes kind of like a force against the Skullgirl from that point forward. She gets revived and then dies again once the Skullgirl is defeated.
That sucks.
Leviathan stays with her and guards her at all times. Leviathan is buried with her, and she looks over her corpse so that nothing happens when she sleeps. Every so often, that's her life now. Every 7 years, she wakes up again and has to fucking fight an eldritch being.
Damn.
Yeah, that's Squiggly.
She's cool at least.
Yeah. Still, that sucks for her.
Her powers are to sing and to use Leviathan. Leviathan spits fire and everything. She's kind of like a very technical character. Once you get to it, a lot of her movesets are pretty cool. Yeah, she's pretty cool. I like Squiggly. Squiggly's fun. She uses Leviathan as a whip, as a rope. She uses Leviathan a lot. It's a cool moveset. She's mostly based around being a performer and a singer, and doing stuff like that. That's her life now. Well, on life, I guess.
Death. That's her death.
That's her on death. Now we just move to the next slide.
Next slide.
Yep.
Slide 9.
Okay, here's what I like to call sideshows. Sideshows were characters that are interesting enough to talk about, but aren't playable characters in the game, nor do they have a big relevant in the story. Nor do they have a big relevant story not a big relevant plot or relevance in the story, but I think their stories are cool enough that they deserve to talk and to be presented. And the first one, the girl you can see there, then her name's Annie of the Stars. She was in the Ragtag group of people that joined Big Band and convinced Squiggly to fight against her mother. By the way, people with parasites are generally really powerful, which is why
Are parasites just a thing, like, that are like, they're not expanded upon, they just are?
They are kind of expanded upon. They come from ancient times. Their origins are kind of unknown for most people. We'll get to that later. But yeah, as far as like regular people know and they know, parasites are kind of like a thing that just like exists in the world, but are very rare. Like, people can get them, but they're not like common, or like not everyone in the street is gonna have a parasite. That's what I mean. and also they're very risky to use because they have their own mind. They can just like it's not like a power up. They have their own mind. They become you. So you have to be in perfect synchrony with the parasite in order to be like worth it or to have the same energy. Parasites usually defend their hosts, but they're not like they're just parasites. They don't like care about you outside of being like a like a host.
Unless you're fired,
Unless they have
unless
the
you're
reason to.
unless you're snake guy.
Yeah, Leviathan's a cool dude. Like for a parasite, he's really cool. He's all about honor and all about like integrity. And the Continello family, and he owes a life debt, as far as we know, for the Continello family. And that's why he's so protective of Squiggly. It's very rare to see a parasite do that. Often parasites, after the host dies, they kind of just like go and go to another host as soon as they can. Like they don't really have any emotional attachment. Leviathan's cool of a dude to like stay with Squiggly and protect her. It's just like a thing that Leviathan does. Not all parasites are like like cool dudes.
Yeah.
Now we're going to sideshows. Annie of the Stars was a character that was one of the characters that was with Big Ben's group. She's a really cool character. She was originally planned to be playable. However, they didn't get the budget for it. She is playable in Indivisible, which is really cool. She's a guest character in Indivisible. She's in there as like a DLC kind of thing with Shovel Knight and other people. She is the only Lab Zero character that was there, and that was mostly because so many people like her that they wanted to animate.
Yeah, it makes sense. Look at her.
Mm-hmm.
I really like her. I really like her design, and her story is pretty cool. Annie of the Stars is a girl that her mom was a previous Skullgirl, an indefinite time long ago, and she was a child star in movies and everything, and her mom wished for her to remain a child forever, becoming the Skullgirl and everything. Annie's now, thanks to that wish, basically immortal in any way. She doesn't age, and she remains a child star. She like comes back and disappears every so often and changes and pretends to be a different Annie. She's the head star of a show called Annie of the Stars by the same name, in which it's like a Power Rangers type show, like a kids show. She plays herself there. She has a really cool bunch of things. She has a parasite herself called Sangan, which is the little bunny she has. The bunny can turn into a motorcycle. And
Oh
like,
fuck yeah!
Yeah, it's
Really?
fucking.
That's dope.
It's so
I love all
fucking
these
cool.
designs.
It's pretty sick.
Like she pulls on him, and the ears become like the motorcycle accelerators, and she fucking uses that as a motorcycle. And he like gives up like star decals behind it. He like drops stardust as she rides it. Cause Stangen can use his mouth, which is I think it's like a black hole thing, to like grab cosmic powers and shit and like lord shit in there. Stangen's pretty fucking cool. And her sword's made from meteorite. All of this is like explained that Annie got it because she's immortal and we don't know how long she's here. So she has enough time to like prepare all this shit. Her only objective is to kill the Skullgirl every time, like to stop people like her mother did, and to kill the Skull.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are all the parasites based on something? Because I know Philia's parasite is Samson, who is based off the biblical character Samson, who had his hair blessed by God.
Leviathan's also based on the biblical stuff. Yeah, most characters are based on religious figures.
Leviathan.
Yeah,
I
the
don't know
explanation
who's
is that
tagging it.
I don't know either. I didn't investigate on that. I'll get back to you on who specifically.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. But like Leviathan's based on the Leviathan. They're all like the implication. It's kind of like all the religions in there are like based around the parasites. Like the religious figures are based around the parasites.
I figured they'd be because Leviathan and Samson knew each other when you played.
They're like ancient creatures, yeah.
Yeah, I figured since they're both biblical things, they would know each other. Whereas, I forgot her name.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry.
I don't wanna confuse anyone else in it.
Mhm.
When if I explain it right now, so it's gonna be like, we'll get to that part.
We'll
But
get
yeah,
there when we get there.
We'll get there when we get there.
that's any of the stars. She's a really cool character. She's kind of like a she acts like a she shows her age in her way of speaking. She talks like an old like a really serious down to business person. And she runs the show. She changes her hair. She changes her hair and pretends to be like a descendant of the Annie, and like comes back. And the show like gets rebooted every so often, and she plays that. She's cool. We don't know exactly how old she is, because she's a child and she doesn't show any sign of aging. But we know she's really fucking old. She's been at it for a while. She's been at this Skullgirls business for like a bunch of time. Considering she has like a lot of resources, she's into this shit. She's an expert on it. If anyone's gonna know how to handle it, it's her. She's been in multiple Skullgirls, an undefined amount too, because we don't know how long she's been around. But yeah, and the other person, it's a character we mentioned before, and that's Black Dahlia. Black Dahlia is an anti-Skullgirls weapon. Well, an anti-Skullgirls, a Lab 8 machination. You can see her there. Since all Lab 8 personnel are people who were heavily scarred or like were in dying condition, people speculate that the bail on it, it's that's how she. Yeah, she has that's her hand. That she doesn't have a proper hand. Her hand is now a gun, and that's the gun she has for her hand. It's
not just any gun; it's a fucking grenade launcher.
Yeah, it's fucking cool.
They're the best kind.
That's why he's able to fit inside the bullet one, because the bullet one's huge.
Yeah, the bullet was she shot it with that arm. Like she was holding it with her proper arm. The other arm's like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna shoot you now. Sienna Continental. She's a former anti-Skullgirls weapon created by Lab 8. People speculate her face is like really messed up behind the veil because she'll be back. Yeah, because in lab people of Lab 8 are people who were like in critical conditions or near death or even and they were rescued and rebuilt. People speculate her face is like really fucked up behind the veil. And that's she defected from the labs and became and like offered her service like, hey, I'm designed to fucking fight a Skullgirl. Won't I be a cool bodyguard? And she became the top enforcer for the Medici family. She's pretty cool. She's ruthless. She's very mercenary about shit. She defends directly the head of the Medici family, which is Lord.
Grenade launcher hand, dog. It's the coolest shit.
Yeah, she was also originally designed to be a playable character, but it took a bit. She was like one of the last ones on the popularity polls, unfortunately, because I really like her design, and I think they will have done amazing shit with it. All things considered.
Yeah, like I can just imagine like using the bounces of the grenades to like control the battlefield.
Yeah, stuff like that would be really cool. I like her design and like her stuff. Okay, so that's the first Skullgirl we know of in timeline, 14 years ago. It's a... Yeah, I think it's I'm pretty sure it's like both. Like it has a grenade and a shotgun and like every other weapon. I don't know. It's kind of like a multi-purpose gun. It's kind of, sci-fi stuff. It does have shotgun shells, which it's like a revolver shotgun, which is actually pretty fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice that. It's like a revolver. Yeah. So we go to the next slide. Those are the two characters that I wanted to talk about that were relevant to the whole story, but I liked their designs and I liked their stories. And I think they add a lot of they add a lot of what do you call it? They add a lot to the universe too with their stories, seeing like a
Yeah, like like things going on outside of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Skullgirls are evil. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Skullgirls doing shit. I don't know.
Skullheart does some shit. It's fucked up.
Does some shit.
Shit's fucked.
Moon's out, goons out.
There we go. Next
now
slide.
we move on. Yeah, next slide.
Oh, it's Parasol.
So
Yeah. Next up is Parasol. This story is told through a flashback by Parasol herself, so we don't know how accurate this representation is. She's kind of presented as an unreliable narrator at some stages in this chapter. So yeah. But this is mostly this is what we know of it. So long ago, 7 years ago, there was a great war going between two kingdoms. The Canopy Kingdoms, the kingdom where Big Ben is, the kingdom where Squiggly was, the Medicis and everyone. The king at the time, King France. King France was a very ruthless and kind of like he was too focused on like Skullgirl business to really care. So he wanted to get more military power, and by that he kind of started a war with the Gigan people, which are giants. They were a kingdom of giants that lived like close by. The war had been going on for a while, and no side was winning. It was kind of like a stalemate. But the people of Numerate of the Canopy Kingdom were, dude, we are wasting money. We're killing people. We kind of don't want this war. Can you like tone it down? And the royal family was facing heavy backlash by Dorothy to like paint it in a positive light. Yeah. Eventually.
Wait, isn't Canopy like a fucking umbrella type thing?
Yeah.
We'll get.
Why is everything umbrella themed?
We'll get to that.
What do you mean we'll get to that? Her name is Parasol!
We'll get to that part. Don't worry about it. We'll get to that part. Yeah. So, yeah. The king and queen, and their daughters, Parasol, and their daughters Parasol, and what do you call it? An Umbrella, who's a newborn at this point. She's like less than 1 year old. Parasol. It's like she's a teenager at this point. She's like 16 at best. And she's like trying to help her mother around because her dad's been away for war, and her mom's like the only person that's been her mom's the only person that's keeping away internal affairs. So Parsol's like helping her mom around, and then she sees one night her mom leave at the middle of the night and go to a church of the Trinity is what it's called, and in there she finds out that her mom has been talking to a person and has been talking to one of the nuns in there, and she talks about how she made a wish on the Skullheart about the war ending, and she comes there to complain about why the war hasn't ended if she already made her wish. And at that moment, Parasol makes herself known, and then apparently Parasol, the queen had given strict orders for them to stop Parasol from leaving the palace that night as guards, and a bunch of guards follow her there, and everyone finds out and hears about the queen making a wish on the Skullheart, which at that point, unfortunately, the Skullheart is like, well, you made your wish, but your wish wasn't made. You made the wish thinking you were gonna help your people and stop the war, but you didn't do it out of wanting to do it of concern. You did it because you didn't believe in your husband and you didn't believe in your people to be able to end the conflict otherwise. So you're kind of thinking it's all up to you, and that's pretty selfish to do. You are do that to your. You'll trust your people will do shit like that. Will help, and that makes her a Skullgirl, because
That's fine. What the fuck?
the Skullgirl's pretty bullshit on his judgment. I'm gonna say.
It sounds like it.
Fuck you, Skullheart.
It's pretty bullshit, I'm not gonna lie. This fucking Skullheart's pretty fucking garbo when it comes to making judgment calls. So yeah, she becomes a Skullgirl, and her wish was to stop the war. And well, next you can see her design in the neck.
Ooh.
The person you see there, that's the queen. That's Parasol's mom,
Yeah.
Queen Nancy, and that's how she looks as a Skullgirl. And the guy with the lance, that's King France. That's Parasol's dad. In a dramatic turn of irony, the war is ended, but because Queen Nancy becomes such a powerful Skullgirl that she's threatening both kingdoms. So both kingdoms decide to ally themselves and try to beat her down, and making a peace treaty in the process. I kind of fulfilling the wish that she made to the. Next slide.
Next slide, slide 12. There she is.
I know this character.
We all know this character. We've all seen her in various positions.
Unfortunately, both the Gaian King and Parasol's dad, King France, died in the process of eliminating the Skullgirl. However, they do manage to do it.
Adam, you're right. She's entirely leg.
They do manage to stop her.
She's like 75% leg, 20% boob.
It's like Bayonetta, where it's like stilts.
There's so much leg.
Yeah. So the king and the queen died. Both kings died in the process, and Parcel, being the only heiress to the throne, becomes the queen of the Canopy Kingdom and focuses all the resources into developing anti-Skullgirl technology and in making an army in the Canopy Kingdom called the Black Egrets, which are a Black Ops team, government-owned, specifically supervised by her, that will be trained into making an army that can defeat the Skull.
Isn't that army entirely dedicated by just loving Parasol?
Yeah, they are really into propaganda. They use the image of it because King France was the ruthless dictator, and Parasol, in contrast, was like, she's kind of like a better ruler, so people like her more. Especially
she's also really fucking hot.
Yeah,
I feel like that has something to do with it, considering she's on all the posters.
I suppose, yeah. But yeah, Parcel becomes obsessed with defeating Skullgirls in her kingdom and stopping them before they happen, dedicating a lot of the resources and infrastructure of the kingdom, making the Medici family be even more able to grow, thanks to the now basically null intervention from the royal house and the government itself. It kind of intensified the situation, which is fair. Once you see your mom become like an eldritch being that's destroying humanity, you kind of like don't want that to happen again.
That tends to be a running theme,
Yeah.
you know.
A bit of a thing you don't want.
Yeah, it's like.
Wait a fucking minute. Heavy rain. Wait a minute.
Heavy rain.
I didn't see it.
Thank you. Yes, I am
Good
great
pun.
at jokes. I am the funny man.
The funny man strikes again.
Funny man strikes again. I made the funny. Yeah. Parcel becomes super obsessed with it and she starts militarizing her forces and everyone else around the Canopy Kingdom, and she, Unfortunately, her sister is her sister. She was really young when it happened, so she has a lot of questions about her. She doesn't really want to tell her the story, and there's a good reason for it, because if she were able to put the timeline together, Queen Nancy had been holding the corruption of the Skull for a year, and Parcel was less than a year old when she became the Skullgirl. So she was pregnant with Umbrella. It's the name of her little sister. So Umbrella was born whilst her mom was under the influence of the Skull Heart. So that's kind of fucked up and never seen before. So everyone's like looking out for that. Umbrella doesn't know that, obviously. And Parcel doesn't really know. Sorry?
Umbrella's a demi-skull.
You want to know that she doesn't get special powers or anything?
Nah,
She's kinda
sucks.
as far as we know.
Wait for 12 years old.
Just wait,
She's
just
like-
wait for it. It's gonna. Just wait for it. Just wait for it.
She's 8 years old, dude. There's no. She's just a little kid. I'll send a picture of Umbrella afterwards. But yeah, she was born whilst her mom was a scholar. Was under the influence of the Skull Heart, and nobody knows like what's gonna happen to her. So Parcel's like balancing out, keeping Umbrella, who is the last living relative of the family she has, and losing her to the Skull Heart again, and balancing her kingdom, which is kind of like her big thing. She's splitting between both of them, focusing too much on both. But yeah, she has an army called the Black Egrets, which you can see in the back. Her second in command's a dude. Her second in command's a dude named Anna. I'll send a picture. Yeah, you know. Fun fact about her. She originally had a super, which had a sniper shoot at you. A lot of her movesets based around like the turret itself. Like she wields a parcel, which the weapons that this family wields are named around the four horsemen of the apocalypse. That's just another thing. She had a special move in which a sniper will shoot you. It will track you anywhere on the screen, but you get obviously, and it's just like a one shot of damage to open you up. And in that moveset, and somebody made an original character and name it for that sniper. And like they signed it and draw it on the style, and they like it so much that they made it official. Like they recorded voice of Parcel saying the name of the original character they made. However, that person that made the original character decided to sue Lab Zero, which are the developers.
Oh, what the fuck?
Over them using her character, so they had to remove it. It's a fucking dick move. They did that shit.
What?
Yeah. They were suing them, and she was, and they were like, well, I guess we have to remove it.
What the fuck?
She still has the sniper super. It's just the
The
voice like
fuck
that.
is the fuck are you thinking? What the fuck?
I don't know.
A piece of
If I
your
made a
fan art
fucking-
to become canon and in this in
It's
the
a dream.
Like, that gets sue. I'll sue. Damn, Brats, I'll sue. Like,
Damn Lab Zero, I'll sue.
Cashing in.
Damn
I don't know
Skullgirls,
why
I'll sue.
I don't know why they did that. It's not like, it's not like even Ruby got big of a loss. It's just a name line.
It's not even the design, it's just the word, just the name.
Yeah, it's weird. They were suing Lab Zero for using their character, which is based on a creation by Lab Zero, based on a thing that they also created, which, I mean, they created.
Fuck that person. Lab Zero could have won the suit just saying, oh, we just happened to come up with the name. I don't know what she's talking about. Fuck her.
No, they removed it entirely out of spite, probably, and they removed the voice line.
Yeah, I mean,
She
so...
she now has only one voice line for it, which is just like, take the shot. That's what she says, and that's the cue for you to fucking block, otherwise you're gonna get shot from the distance. But yeah.
So the only way you can defend it is to block. You can't dodge.
You can dodge it, but it's kind of like a sniper track. It's like it's like I don't know how it's weird to explain it. But without fighting game knowledge, it's kind of like immediate hitbox after he says that. There's an activation period and then immediate hitbox over you. You can you can block it and you can like perfect roll out of it. It's whatever. It's a fun mechanic. It's mostly for like, oh, I throw my opponent away and they're still in the air and I can do this. But yeah, that's kind of like a fun fact about Parasol. There's a lot of characters from her egrets that are not really important, but their name. There's a really buff guy, and her movesets consist of like pulling the egrets, her army, to like shoot with her, or like one of her supers is all the egrets come from the side of the screen she's on, riding motorcycles, and they beat you up with it. They like ride over you, and that's kind of like a projectile she has. It's pretty cool. She's a sonar type character. Well,
makes sense. She has a gun.
Yeah, mid-range control type of character. But yeah, that's 4 assaults. That's story. Now we move on to Cody's favorite character on the next slide.
The boy!
The boy? Next slide? The boy?
Yeah, next slide.
There he is!
The boy!
My apologies on the quality of this image. I was looking for the image online in HD, and it didn't fucking exist, so I had to take a screenshot myself of this in the game.
It adds to it.
Yeah. So if it's not like fully clear what's going on there, that's kind of my bad, because that image doesn't exist online. At least not like a clean version of the artwork that I could find. Even in the wiki, there isn't an image of that. But anyways, move on to a character named Beowulf. This part of the story takes place during the war that happened before that happened between the Gigant and the Canopy Kingdom. Between the Gigants and the Canopy Kingdom, and they are So all the characters have movie posters in it. They design their own movie posters. That's what I'm using at the end of every character. Like first thing, it's and they serve like cool little animated. Like they serve like cool also like character themes. Like Parasol's a recruitment poster with her. What do you call it? Squiggly, who is a singer, has like a concert type poster for like an event, and it even like references stuff like produced by the Medicis and the Continellos and stuff like that. But yeah, they're mostly like style around them. You'll see more of them as we move along. But yeah, Beowulf's story occurs during the war, the Gaigan versus the Canopy Kingdom War, and his story is he was an up-and-coming wrestler at the time, and the royal family and the government, due to the disarray of the people during the war, and they wanted to rally people to it. Sorry, my throat's kind of.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. They wanted to rally people to the war, so they decided to organize an event where the most popular war wrestler of the Canopy Kingdom will fight against the most powerful warrior of the Gaigan Kingdom in a cage match. And the one they chose was Beowulf, because he was an up-and-coming wrestler who was like a star child. Like everyone, like he was like a project.
Like Rocky versus the fucking Russian dude.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or like that time in real life when the WWE went to fucking North Korea.
Yeah, it's like a cage match between like my kingdom is better than yours. And the person that Beowulf's totally inspired by Beowulf, like the character. The greatest warrior of the Gaigan Kingdom was a guy named Grendel. You can start to see the Beowulf stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He beats Grendel and he takes his arm off during the fight. He like somehow chops his arm off, despite being a wrestler dude who fights with a chair.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he takes his arm off. Yeah, he ripped his arm off with a suplex or something.
He's just so beefy.
He's so fucking strong.
he's a big dude. And not only did he beat Grendel, which is the most powerful warrior, Grendel's mom was in the audience, and she freaked the fuck out and started attacking after her son died, and Beowulf beat her too. Which was like she fucking walked into the cage match and Beowulf fight it too. Very like wrestler type, very WWE type story.
He's a very wrestler type man.
Yeah, I wonder why that is, huh? But yeah,
Was she an impressive fighter too, or is she just kind of like a mom?
she's a giant. She's just a giant.
I'm fucking looking at her. What the fuck? That's not a normal mom.
The person there is not. The person there in the picture is not. It's not Grendel. That's the mom, because there's no picture of Grendel and Beowulf fighting. But yeah, Beowulf became famous for being a man who, with his bare hands and a chair, beated 2 Gigants, and that rallied people to be like, shit, yeah, I want to fight in this war. This was near the beginning of it, and that's why it took a bit of time between the war, and that's why it kind of ended in a stalemate, because it rallied people to patriotism with Beowulf's fight, and he became like a rising superstar. Everyone wanted to meet him. He acted in every big movie. Wolfmania.
Yeah, so like, yeah, kind of like Hulkamania, yeah.
Yeah, it's Wolfmania. He became. Everyone wanted to buy action figures.
He's the cream of the crop.
Yeah, he became like a super powerful star.
And the cream always rises to the top.
Brother.
He's like a super wrestler. He's like a bro type guy, but he became like a, you know.
Do we go to the next slide?
Yeah.
Slide forward. There he is. Look at him.
There he is. That's what Beowulf. However, shortly after that, and once the war ended, once the patriotism started to die down and disarray of the people started to set in, and especially once the war ended, and the Skullgirl happened, Gigants weren't looked as that impressive. Once you see a fucking gigantic Eldritch being almost killed 2 countries, like, obviously they're gonna be like, oh yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, that does say Innsmouth. Don't worry about it. I'll explain little Innsmouth. But yeah.
I mean, you could pay attention to the fact it says Innsmouth, or you could pay attention to the fact Beowulf is called the Hype. Like Innsmouth is no longer impressive when there's a man called the Hype.
He's fighting a man named Andy Anvil.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy Anvil's pretty cool. He's an anvil with boxer gloves and legs. It's fun.
I can tell. The comeback of the century.
So yeah, Beowulf starts falling down in relevance as the war ends and as the people start to get like more and more against the war, and he eventually becomes doomed to the only job he can get, is being playing the big bad wolf in the show of Annie of the Stars, and he becomes like a really cool friend to Annie actually. Like he's like, they like hang out and shit. They're cool guys together. Beowulf's kind of like a dumb head, and Annie's like super serious, and they like hang out about it. However, Beowulf eventually leaves this job and kind of he becomes a has-been, living off the money he made in the past. And rumors start spreading that his fight with Grendel and the mom was completely like fabricated by the people, by the kingdom.
It was all a work.
In order to like promote patriotism, and some lines of Parasol like really dictate that this was the case, and Beowulf was just the one chosen by this. Like, it's implied that Grendel was heavily poisoned and intoxicated before the fight, before even letting him in, and so was the mom. So Bell was kind of set up for it, and he knows this, and she's like, Bell, don't fucking do anything stupid, please. You're not that impressive. Do you really think you could fucking?
You're a really buff guy, but you're not actually that impressive compared to everyone else.
You really think you can suplex a giant? Bell, a fucking full-on giant? I don't think so.
Is this a fucking Mr. Satan situation?
No, Bell's pretty strong. He's just like, people believe that he didn't fight Grendel honestly, and it's up in the air. Parasol makes some allusion that might be the case, but also we see kind of like Grendel fights, and we'll get to Grendel once during the story mode. Beowulf keeps the arm of Grendel. Beowulf keeps the arm of Grendel in the wall, and the arm of Grendel is like trying to choke out Beowulf once, because the arm comes back to life. The arm comes back to life because it's an undead. Every corpse, like, it doesn't have to be a full body. It has to, wherever it's dead, the Skullgirl controls now.
Oh my god!
During the story mode, and the Grendel's arm comes back to life, but Beowulf talks to it, and he like, Grendel's arm's like cool with him, and he's like, yeah, let's fuck this up. Let's make our comeback.
Yeah.
He wields Grendel's arm during the fights, and he uses it as a he like grabs it and like dashes through the screen with Grendel's arm and stuff like that, because the arm's alive and he helps, and the arm's like not heavy enough for him not to carry it. During the story mode, saluted that Grendel really respects Beowulf, so I kind of have to incline to Beowulf, like, it was an actual match. That was, yeah, I have to believe that it was an actual match, but it's kind of implied that it could be both. But I genuinely believe Grendel at the very least respected Beowulf, because he fucking collaborated with him.
Because he ripped off his fucking arm. I respect a man who can rip off my fucking arm.
Yeah, you're gonna respect me one day.
Fuck you, you can't rip off my arm.
You wanna see me try?
I fucking wanna see you try.
Yeah, Beowulf keeps Fenrir's arm, and he's kind of like just a has-been. He's like talking with producers and shit before the story happens, about like, yo, can I make my comeback? Can I make my comeback now? I wanna fight some dude. He just sits and watches documentaries, wondering what the fuck. But yeah, Beowulf's kind of.
Does Beowulf have a theme? Why aren't you playing it?
Let me put it up. Beowulf's pretty cool.
He is pretty cool. He's a fucking wrestler. All wrestlers are cool. We all know this. Wrestling is always cool.
It's a fun idea of that. I like that. I like what they did with his story, because it uses the wrestling is fake angle. Like, is it fake in this universe? Was Beowulf like a made up thing, or was it not?
It's real to me, damn it! It's real to me.
You know, it's like a cool way of using that thing. You know, Beowulf's pretty cool because of that.
Quick, Hombre, make Beowulf poggers.
Wait a second. I got a better picture.
Your feelings for it.
We move on to the next slide.
Alright, next slide. Who this?
Okay.
Split hair friendship.
Yeah.
That uniform looks familiar.
So we move on to around 6 months before the game starts. This is chronological. 6 months before the game starts, these two best friends who go to the same school, called somebody. I think Adams. Was it Adam who died?
Yes, it was Adam.
Which Adam we talking about?
Adam.
Do we wait for him? I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yeah, I can wait. But yeah, Beowulf's a pretty cool dude. I like the way they did.
Beowulf's
In the meanwhile, we should talk about Beowulf more.
Beowulf's a really cool dude because he does like he has like a lot of mechanics around building up hype in the audience. He has moves that specifically hype up the audience.
He's fucking hype mechanics.
Yeah, and hyping the audience up opens up new moves to him based on his hype meter. Like for example, he'll rally the audience by taunting or by like dropping the mic, which is a move. He pulls out the mic and the mic becomes a projectile on the ground. Like once he drops it and he can hit you. He has a hitbox, yes, and it's funny. He has two hitboxes, one for pulling out the mic and one for the mic and hitting the ground. It's a fun mechanic. And if you drop the mic and stand in that pose, it gains up more hype because you're in a fucking fight. And like the longer you can stay still and like taunt your opponent by dropping the mic, it's super cool to do it once you like finish a long combo, drop the opponent to the ground, drop the mic, and you stand in that pose waiting for them to recover and stand up. It's fucking cool.
Look at this fucking theme.
That was a cool dude.
He's fucking all wrestlers are cool dudes. We've already known this.
Oh, Beowulf.
He's the only other outside of Big Ben. He's the only other male character to be playable.
The only person man enough to fight with a chair.
Oh yeah,
Second only person.
He has a kanji skin actually.
He does.
That's fun. He has a kanji skin. Yeah.
Yeah, Skullgirls has a lot of like reference skins.
Yeah. The skins are a lot of them. There's a lot of Madoka Magica reference, and you can see that was also kind of the inspiration on the Skullgirl mechanic. You can probably guess that.
Something, Purgishnat.
Wish.
Being Maguka is suffering.
Yeah. Being Maguka is suffering. That's
why there are a lot of Madoka Magica costumes and stuff like that, because it's pretty based on that. It's a pretty based game.
I become Maguka.
Yeah,
no, we can't talk about Maguka. We can't. No, stop.
Slide 15.
Adam back.
Adam, speak to us. Yeah, alright.
Speak to me, speak.
Onto slide 15 then.
On slide 15.
Yeah. So, I think I'm gonna have to change the music. By the way,
yeah. For it.
Yeah.
Actually, oh yeah, I wanted that one actually.
I fucking know what's up. I listen to the Skullgirls OST. What's going on, Hombre?
Yeah. So, there you can. We move on to 6 months before the story happens, and we see Filia Medici, who is the daughter of a branch of the family, of the Medici family that stepped out of the mafia business and kind of just lived life with the money they made. And her best friend Carl, which is the girl you see there. That's Carl. They're working.
You're saying Carol, right?
Carol, yeah.
You say it like Carl.
Carol.
Yeah, A's are different, I know.
Carl. Yeah, Carl.
Carl from fucking what's it called? Jimmy Neutron.
Neutron. Carl. Yeah. I'll say it in Spanish in order to not confuse. Carl.
Yeah, that works better.
Yeah, it works.
Carl. Sure. Out after school, and they found a stray dog. They're like playing with Carl is a very like happy-go-lucky girl.
I can tell.
She's like, dude, the dog's adorable. Let's fucking, he's cool. And then the dog starts talking to them, and they freak out because of it.
Oh, that is the dog. I was looking at the dog the wrong way.
Yeah, I was too. Now that
That's amazing. It's pretty cool. He's got face back.
Yeah.
Got a face back.
Actually, the dog starts talking to them by a face on his back, which introduces themselves as Samson and Dog. That's the name of the dog. They
Dog.
can't be asked. Yeah, it's just Dog. Samson, I think Samson doesn't understand dog language. So that's why he calls him Dog. So he doesn't understand. He has to speak the same language as the host. It's not like a complete understanding. But yeah, Samson bonded with the dog. He presents himself. He's a parasite who inhabits the hair of the people he inhabits. Well, yeah, the people he bonds with, and becomes a living weapon kind of thing. He can manipulate the hair. He lives in the hair and he manipulates it. And Carl and Philia are like freaked out by this, but Samson mentions that they're homeless and they haven't had food in a bit, so if they can like buy them dinner, that would be cool. And then Carl, who's a really caring girl, she's like, I want to adopt them, but I don't have enough space at home. My parents won't let me. Hey, Philia, you're a millionaire. Can you adopt this dog? And Philia's like, what? I don't wanna adopt this dog.
I don't want a dog with a face on its back.
Yeah.
Front back dog.
That dog looks sus, dude. I don't want that dog. And she's like, but then Carl convinces her to like let the dog in, and then what do you call it? Samson promises to become the bodyguard of her, and she's like, okay, sure, you can leave him, but like, don't talk during my home. That's how Ophelia looks at this point, by the way. That's how Ophelia looks, and the other one's Carl.
Smug.
Are we on to the next slide?
Yeah, she's just, no, in the no boys one.
Oh.
That's like supplemental material. It's not really important. Yeah, she's kind of like the preppy, smug.
Look at
rich
this!
girl.
Look at this! Not as good design.
Yeah. I hate it.
She's kind of like a preppy, like, you know.
What a fucking bitch! Someone get the fucking face dog back on her to make her look better. Quick.
We'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
We get there when we get there.
Yeah. Samson lives with Philia, and Samson and Doug live with Philia, and they like try to keep hidden from their dad that they are, well, they're a parasite, and that's set up for later. That's all you need now. Carl and Philia take care of the dog for a bit.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Yeah. Next slide.
Did you just say Agno?
Next slide.
Next.
Next.
Yes, we heard you. Next. Next slide.
It's okay. Calm down.
Now we're going to characters that I like genuinely really like the designs, and I'm kind of angry they're not playable. As I explain them, you'll get. But yeah, we're going to a group called The Last Hope. They're called The Last Hope because they are a Black Ops team that operate as a ninja force, basically trained by the anti-Skullgirls labs with special equipment. They're all teamed around nurses, and they all have codenames around holidays. Their leader is Christine, whose codename is Miss Christmas. She's a proficient in scalpels and
This
scalpels.
this reminds me a bit of another team that uses holidays.
Yeah. Christine, she's the leader of it. She's the judgment caller and everything else. She's the one in the center with the scar on her eye. I don't know if the one with the red hair in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Christine. Then next the big one with the blue hair. That's Bob, who is the second in command. Her real name is Valerie, and she uses a serrated knife, and it's expert in elimination and assassination. That's her specialty. Next is Patty, named after St. Patrick's Day. She doesn't have a codename since she's her name already is kind of like a reference to it.
Get it?
She uses an IV bag as a. She's really cool. I'll send you the signs of them proper afterwards. Yeah. Patty's like a happy-go-lucky girl, like a brash girl who like uses an IV bag to stab people, like the IV stand as a lance, and she's proficient on that. And then the other one, it's called Miss Hollow. Oh wait, I forgot about Easter. Yeah, Easter, who is she's the eldest one of them, and she specializes in incapacity in grabbing people. She uses body bags to like. She has techniques to like use body bags to Isuna drop people, and she's proficient on that.
What the fuck?
Yo, yeah, like she puts you in a body bag and like can throw you to the other side of the wall in a single move. Easter's pretty cool. Yeah, she's cool. She's like the main on incapacitating people and like grabbing them without killing them.
I don't think throwing people like across the world is fucking non-lethal.
Yeah, you know, when you're fighting an eldritch being that can destroy the humanity, can go
You
too
need
little.
to be strong.
Yeah, you need to be strong, dude. You need to be strong person. Yeah.
Strong.
And
Very
then,
strong.
and then Esther is the one. And then the last one, the one with the mask thing, that's Hallow, code name after Halloween. Obviously, her name's Holly. She has bandages all around her arms, which she uses to hide away syringes that contain lethal toxins.
She has
She uses
bandages
that
all
as-
around her. What?
Her arms. Her arms are
Alright.
like fully bandaged, and she like hides syringes between them, and in her nurse outfit and everything. She's expert in chemical warfare, basically. She mixes up syringes and everything. Her trait is that she always promises it will not eat, but it always does. That's her character trait in it. Yeah, all of them form the Last Hope, which are a group of Black Ops who, outside of dealing with the Skullgirl, they also take on the position of regular Black Ops team, like siege, like doing sieges on crimes and everything, and also on the more on the more less known part of it, they also are prone to taking people in. Unlike Lab 8, people that aren't like in need of the people that don't have a choice, they kidnap them and then take them to in order to make them anti-Skullgirl weapons. That's kind of another thing, mostly because of who they work under, which is a dude named Dr. Brainray, which we'll get to him. But yeah, they are unlike Lab 8, which only takes people in that are like in need of the full reconstruction and the process, otherwise they'll die, like Ben was. Lab 0 kidnaps people if they fit the match to make an anti-Skullgirl weapon on the justification that, well, it's one person for the whole humanity and the advancement of it, so, you know, it's kind of like a fair trade.
Yeah, you know, like.
It's justifiable to them. It's justifiable enough to be like, it's fucked up, but it's like a thing that I can like, okay, I can see why someone will do himself into thinking that's okay.
Yeah, no.
Like, it's humanity or one guy. Like, if one guy that you kidnap stops the world-ending threat, you know, it's fucked up.
Like,
That's
it's okay because they become either like a cool robot or they die. It's fine.
The process of becoming an anti-Skullgirl weapon is very deadly. I don't know if I established that. It's a very low chance that you actually make it.
You become a super cool fucking dude, or you die. It's just one or the other, you know.
Because most of what they do is either implant machinery on people or put parasites on you, and parasites can kill a host if the host is not strong enough, and you know. So yeah, they do fucked up shit. They're not. It's not clear. Like, it's not crystal clear that the anti-Skullgirl labs are good guys. They do fucked up shit. Just to end.
Your guys than the Skullgirls.
Yeah. But yeah. Next slide.
Next slide.
Yeah. That guy over there,
That guy's cool. Look at him.
cool as the sign over there.
You just
He
stand.
got
the head-
syringe
he's the head
hands.
Yeah, yeah. He is the main guy. He's the main scientist of Lab Zero, called Dr. Braindrain. He managed to harness his brain into a robot body, which is what he has. He's super old, but he's a robot man who creates anti-Skullgirl weapons. He declares himself as the rival of Dr. Avian, which is the guy that created Big Bang and everyone in Lab 8. And he's like trying to one-up him every time. Dr. Avian doesn't see this as a competition. He's just like trying to save the world. But he's like, fuck you, I'm gonna make a better Skullgirl weapon than you. I'm gonna put lasers on it, and you're gonna fucking die, dude.
Fucking Vegapunk.
Kind of like a friendly Dr. Light or Dr. Wily.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say friendly. He does kidnap people on the street.
Like a Dr. Wily, but they're both working for the same goal of like, hey, let's have this thing not kill everybody.
Wily isn't actively being a detriment to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Dr. Wily isn't the main antagonist, but just a dude that's there. If Dr. Wily was a jobber in this universe, which he kind of is. Braindrain's not that powerful. He's not a fighting man. He's not playable. He does appear in the stages and he has psychic powers, but that's mostly it. He has psychic powers because he experimented with his brain during the process of transferring it. It's not a thing that exists. He just kind of developed brain power. But yeah, he and Dr. Avian have like a one-up situation. Every time he this anti-Skullgirl weapon's gonna fuck him up, Dr. Avian comes up with like a huge anti-Skullgirl weapon, and he's like, fuck, I can't beat him, my true rival, but Dr. Avian doesn't really care. But yeah, that's Braindrain. So we move on to around the same night, well, a couple months later, around 6 months afterwards, which is 1 or 2 days before the game starts.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the night that it began, and that's a night that will be known as the Medici hostage crisis situation. What happened was the Medici family, even though they've been working more like a mafia that's like underground and doesn't really make like big moves.
Are we in a different slide now, by the way?
Oh yeah, this next slide, yeah, the 17. I don't know if I said that.
17 or 8? Just so 17?
17.
Alright.
Yeah. The Medici family was known for like keeping profile and like not doing a lot of stuff that could directly involve them into crime, like illegal casinos and stuff. And then out of nowhere, they did a big hostage situation with demands to get an audience, a branch of the family demands to get an audience and one thing over at Little Innsmouth, which is Little Innsmouth is the slums of New Meridian. They come from the kingdom of Innsmouth, and they established they're fish people. They exist. They're like Innsmouth people. They come from the kingdom of Innsmouth, but they established Little Innsmouth in like a coastal area of New Meridian. But it's a poor area. It's like the slums. Only the poor people live in there, which is mostly the fish people. Because
being a fishman tends to mean you're poor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because not a lot of people hire like fish people.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty spooky.
New Meridian's kind of just inhabited by humans with multiple races, but we only really see humans in a lot of the games. Well, in the game, because New Meridian's mostly inhabited by humans, and most of the story happens in New Meridian. But yeah, there are a lot of races like the fish people. But yeah, or the Gigants that we established before. But yeah, they have a hostage situation in Little Innsmouth, and Big Band, the Last Hope, and the rest of the lab of the anti-Skullgirl weapons decide to intervene because it was getting out of hand, and the police were not able to handle the Medici firepower. And they managed to avert the situation. However, there are 2 casualties during this. 2 girls. The one they find and were able to rescue is named Patricia Watson. She is found. She was very, very lethally wounded by Medici people in order to set an example, because she tried to like fight the hostage situation. She's very heavily tortured. It's implied a lot of stuff. She doesn't have teeth. She had it rough. Let's just put it like that.
Bad times.
It's a very heavy description. It's a very heavy description of what they did to her, so I don't want to give it in case it makes people uncomfortable. Just know that she's much worse than how Ben was when he became, and how Big Ben was when he became Big Ben. So Big Ben takes her, and Big Ben takes her, and they go to the anti-Skullgirl labs as a last-ditch effort to like save her life. And Dr. Avian tries to rebuild her. We'll get to what happens to her later. The other person's a girl named Marie, who disappeared and wasn't accounted for in the hostage situation. And another person during it, we see that the Last Hope kidnaps a person that was in the wrong place at the wrong time during the hostage. She wasn't injured or anything. They just kind of take her and just give her to the brain drain. We don't know who this person is yet, but she got kidnapped out of nowhere.
Oh no!
By the Last Hope, like they do. Next slide.
Next slide.
Spooky.
Ooh.
Slide 18. Oh.
I wonder what that is.
Is that a nun lady?
Next slide.
That's a nun lady. That's an
What?
eye.
What could that be?
Well, it's the girl with the big arms, the girl that Wooly likes. There she is.
Big arms.
Hombre, tell us why Wooly likes her.
She's pretty cool. She's
Punch girl.
Cerebella. Okay, Cerebella. Throughout, the Medici family has a lot of businesses around them, and in a world like Skullgirls, where people can get like magical powers and or parasites, people like the Medici want to hire people who have stuff like that, and that way. And what they do, they usually own places that are like where those type of people will go, like circuses and like casinos and stuff like that, like places where people with powers and like parasites will go, so they can scout them out and buy them and like hire them. The Cirque du Cart, which is the circus, a big circus in the town of New Meridian. It doesn't have to be like people with parasites. It can be just like really good knife throwers. We want that. It's just kind of like a business they invest in. But yeah. The Cirque du Cart is
Hombre.
yeah, the Cirque du Cart is a giant cirque. It's the Cirque du Cart is one of the big circus, in one of the biggest circus in New Meridian. Sorry, saw that by something.
That's cool.
Yeah, one of the biggest circus in New Meridian, and the head Cerebella, who is an acrobat, and she owns a hat that she got. She kind of got it as a child. She's an orphan, and she got it. That's her only memento. Her hat named Vice Versa, which is a big, strong arms in it. It's a really strong arm, and what she does, she like juggles. Her main act is walking the tightrope whilst the arms hold an elephant, and she balanced it out. It's fucking cool. She does shit like that.
That's very impressive.
But yeah.
She's got big arms. Big punch arms.
Big
Big
medium.
meaty claws.
As we know, as I mentioned before, the Medici family tends to look for people in there. And Sarabella has worked for the Medici before, but she stays at the circus. She yearns to be able to get hired full job like Black Dahlia for the Medicis, because she wants like that lifestyle. And I'm pretty sure she was scouted out by the Medicis as an orphan and given the opportunity to work at a circus and given the proper life she has now. So she adores them and she wants to like serve them properly. And for some reason at this moment that is unknown, the Medicis are in a hard spot. And what do you call it? The Medicis are acting weird, and they go and hire Sarabella, track down, and on a thief of unknown description to them that stole something really precious to the Medici family. So now she's up in the streets doing that as a Medici enforcer, with her opportunity to become the big shot and the next Black Dahlia.
And big strong arms.
Yeah, she's chasing down this thief.
I can't get over how fucking ripped those arms are.
They are.
Buff.
It's a living weapon. What she has. It's like a. There are parasite that inhabits the head, not her, and that's what she has.
Oh, so that's the difference between
Yeah,
the living
yeah.
weapon thing.
How the fuck? How does the parasite inhabit a hat?
Parasites can inhabit anything.
Parasites do whatever they want.
Yeah, a parasite inhabited a dog, so might as well.
Yeah.
Go for
Yeah, but the dog's
I
alive.
haven't mentioned this earlier, but I keep wanting to talk, but I'm not because I'm actually playing Skullgirls instead.
Oh, hey, good job.
Congratulations.
This game feels great.
You did it.
Play Skullgirls.
You did it, V. Good job. I'm proud of you.
I did a thing. Yay.
Yeah. She's tracking the Medici are tracking a thief that stole something important to them, and they're really, and that's the reason why they were doing also the hostage situation, and they broke the rules of the Medici family, which is to hold hostages, which is not to like do shit that will directly harm the family reputation. It's mostly do shit under the table, but they went all out on that because of some reason somebody stole something important to them.
Okay.
Next slide then.
Next slide.
Next slide.
Oh, there she is.
There she is.
She's one of my favorite characters design. That's Eliza.
She is my favorite character, just purely on her design.
Look at her.
Also, her parasite.
Yeah. Eliza is a high-end celebrity person. She's a singer and a performer who's like well known throughout the world. She's an idol. She's like well beloved. Everyone loves her, but she has a big secret. The Medici family contacts her, and what she does is, and they blackmail her with knowledge that she's been stealing the blood that the blood donation campaign she's been running has been having for some reason. They don't know why, but they like blackmail her into it. They're like, you're gonna help us find, like the Medicis are all their cards to find this thief for some reason. Whatever he stole must have been important. And but yeah, the Medicis are blackmailing people and everyone them. On this, to the lack of knowledge of the Medici family, Eliza is actually a really powerful being. She has a parasite which dates back to the Egyptian era called Sekhmet, which is their skeleton itself becomes a parasite. And
Can I interject?
Yeah.
To talk about Sekhmet?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sekhmet is the god, is a goddess of the sun and destruction. She was
Yeah.
created directly from Ra, which is why the Eye of Ra is such an important thing. Because
Yeah.
Ra removed his eye and it became Sekhmet, which is why she's so vicious. And I think in Skullgirls it's very well shown how vicious she can be.
Mhm.
It literally took Ra getting her drunk, making her fall asleep, and then taking away her power to make new gods in order to stop her.
That's pretty
Yeah.
fucking strong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Segment's fucking cool. In both
She is.
the mythology.
Does this
Both
mean
the
that she's
mythology.
actually an Egyptian from the ancient?
Yeah. She's
Yes.
built-
I just
she's pretty much like all but confirmed that she's Cleopatra by this point.
Yeah, that makes
Wait,
sense.
what? Wait, what? That's not how that works.
Look at her! Fucking look at her!
Look
She's
at her.
pretty much she's an immortal Egyptian person who was a ruler of the Egyptian people.
I thought
She's
it was
Cleopatra.
Sekhmet
No.
or Eliza.
Eliza is
say
Cleopatra. No,
Yes.
Eliza's.
Look at her!
So wait, what? Sekhmet
It's pretty
didn't-
implied. It's
What?
pretty implied.
Eliza's
Yeah, but
Cleopatra.
Sekhmet- how long has Sekhmet been in Eliza?
Oh, for a millennia.
Wait,
She's been in
this-
that host for a
what?
millennia. Yeah.
forever.
Sekhmet is immortal.
What?
Look at that fucking side boob. Only Cleopatra could have that side boob.
This also confirms that Ra is a parasite in a way. If it's the same Sekhmet, it confirms that.
Maybe. Oh, I don't know.
So wait,
In the
does that
I mean,
mean?
Skullgirls doesn't really. Skullgirls isn't really the same universe.
All of
as that,
mythology.
I guess, but also that'd be cool because it could mean that like a parasite could remove a part of themselves and make a new parasite.
Maybe we don't know about it, but yeah, Sekhmet inhabited a queen of Egypt, which is what a lot of her design is, which is very obviously Cleopatra.
Only
Based on
Cleopatra
Sekhmet.
could be that hot.
Yeah.
This is canon, we know
That's
this.
actually a debate. Did you know that that's actually a debate right now on whether or not Cleopatra was an average-looking woman or if she was just hot? It's an actual debate.
In the
Historical
Skullgirls universe, she's actually attractive. So,
Yeah, look at her.
Yeah.
Skullgirl confirms history.
Do we? Well, yeah. Well, she's average. Yeah. She's, okay. I mean, do we really care about what that person looked like? Anyways.
Apparently, it's
The
important.
historians, they're
Historically, it's actually very important to know whether or not she was attractive or just average looking. It's heavily implied that she was just average looking and was a really good talker.
I refuse.
Anyways.
Historians need to get their rocks off, chi.
Hey.
Why Skullgirls?
Hey.
Why Skullgirls?
That may be true, but you don't have to call me
Oh,
out
wait,
like
I
that.
Okay. Well. Yeah. She has a parasite named Sekhmet. Sekhmet's like fucking legendary in this universe, and Eliza has been laying low for her. Sekhmet inhabits your skeleton and becomes and uses and feeds on blood to make a person basically immortal, and he can also remodel the whole body around it to become weapons and weapons of blood. You can see in the picture I put, you can see her arm, it's making a snake, that's her blood, and her flesh making that snake. And you can see her hand is actually a skeleton. That's her main method of attack. She morphs her body around, so you see the skeleton forming. And the more powerful the attack is, the more the skeleton is shown. It's a pretty cool design feature. She also has an ankh around her, which follows her around. That's her movement track in the animation. It's pretty cool. And it also fits with the eternal life type of deal, the reincarnation.
Yeah.
Segment. Eliza's been around for forever, and Sekhmet keeps her alive. Sekhmet is in fact so ancient that there was a myth of a being called the Crimson Scourge, which was a big tyrant that fed on the blood of his people. And Sekhmet, it's actually confirmed that she is the Crimson Scourge. And Eliza herself, I'm pretty sure they say that she was the host at that time. Eliza's been around for forever, changing and like hiding away, keeping a low profile. However, she's blackmailing to her whole life being like blackmailed by the Medicis, because what she will do is she became a popular singer, and she will hold like blood drives and everything, and she will and feed on it, so she doesn't have to like kill people and like just lay low for a while, you know. Well, yeah. Now she's being called out on it, and she is called to be backup for Cerebell, and because the Medicis are just pulling all the stops into fighting whoever this is. To be fair, Cerebell is more her backup, but you know. She's an
You know.
I just realized that says she's the only one not in denial.
Where?
On her hair in the poster.
Oh yeah.
Is this next slide time?
No, she's no, she doesn't kill people because the Crimson Scars was dethroned eventually by other parasites joining together, and she doesn't want to repeat that. She knows that she can't do it at the moment, so that's why she's laying low. She's waiting for her time to become the Crimson Scout again. She's just fucked up. She's not a nice person. She kills you on sight. Yeah. She's kind of like just I can't.
Can I mention something? Eliza's a boomer. She clings on to the past. That's why she's dressed like an Egyptian.
Also, she's really, really old.
Yeah.
It's okay.
She's past that.
It's okay. Just look at it. It'll be fine.
She grew
She's past that.
Her clothes are actually like her clothes aren't like clothes. They're just like flesh that she molds. Their body doesn't look like her body. Her body's like she can change clothes in the spot. Like she can morph herself. She just chooses that form. In the wind poses she has, she like flips around her skin and comes out with a new outfit. So she's not wearing. She's become such a degraded mass of bone, of like blood and everything, that she doesn't really have like a human flesh. She's just putting on the appearance of it. In fact, if you see her,
basically she's just her skeleton at this point that's being possessed
Sekhmet, and it's debatable if Eliza is even alive at this point, and it's just Sekhmet. And she just takes the name of it, but it's like a thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah. In fun fact, and why I really like her design, pay attention to her. She's been like this for so long, and she's probably not drink blood enough, that when you see her in her standing animation, there are a couple of minutes where her leg like kind of has like a moment where it shows a bit of skeleton and like stuff like that. If you pay close attention to it, once she's standing still and not fighting, she looks like completely perfect human. But once she starts fighting and everything, her like form starts to fall apart and like take different forms, and it's super cool.
Yeah.
She also has a
it has really good animation. The entire
if you reel her back, there's a fun like, and the animation is really funny because if you punch her back, her brain pops out of her nose like how mummies did it, and she pushes it back in when she's crouching and gets hit. It's fun. Little details like that they put in the animation. I'll share the animations. Eliza's probably one of the best animators in the like the best.
I mean, just look at her.
Yeah. Eliza's pretty cool. She's kind of just in here for now. She's really powerful. In her ending, she dominates the world. Not with the skull heart, that's completely different. She does use the destroys it for fun and just kind of dominates the world with stuff she did. Eliza's a pretty fucked up individual. But yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's cool. She's cool.
But yeah.
It's really cool.
Next slide.
Next slide.
One, I think.
Next slide.
Slide 21. Oh, hey, it's the headless chick.
Yeah.
The one that takes off her head and throws it at people.
Yeah, there's a reason for it. Well, her story is probably the most simple out of the ones in here, but it's kind of like, she's kind of like a plot device, I gotta say. And that's kind of,
It's okay, because she's cool anyways.
So she's a member of a gang of little Innsmouth fishmen who are like Robin Hood type thieves who take from the rich and give to the poor people in the slums. called the Fishbone Gang. They were planning a big heist on the Medici, and with intel they got, and what do you call it? with the intel they got and everything, and the Fishbone Gang was about to make the big heist on the Medici safe. They managed to like almost do it, but they were betrayed. That's not really important. They just kind of like the Medicis were ready for them. The people that they got the info for, they kind of got paid off, you know. So the Fishbone Gang gets as soon as they grab the most precious a gem in a safe for the Medicis, everything activates and like all of the Fishbone Gang dies, gets destroyed by lasers. It's like a laser sage, like that Resident Evil scene.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about. That Resident Evil, where the lasers come in and like they slice people you in half. Like that happened to the whole thing, except the person that was holding the gem, who accidentally ate it once the laser came on, out of fear. Like she was grabbing it and looking at it, and then the lasers activated and she jumped. He ate it accidentally.
All right. As you do.
After being cut up and sliced in a million pieces, she after being cut up and sliced in a million pieces, she starts assembling herself thanks to the gem. What do you call it? She starts assembling herself again. If you see the sign in that, you can see the places where she was like cut off.
Yeah.
That's she's still like her body still can't keep it together. She's not dead. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
She assembles herself and escapes and discovers that she has newfound immortality. She now fights using her. Oh, she has a sushi belt, by the way. Her belt is a sword and a tail. She can like unplug it and use it, and it also serves as a tail for the sign. She has the Atsushi belt.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah.
Oh, I thought you're like you say Atsushi like sushi, like you don't pronounce the A.
Atsushi. But yeah. The cat boy.
The cat boy. Sushi roll.
At sushi roll. But yeah, Miss Fortune then escapes the Medici hideout, and this is the thief that Cerebella and Eliza are trying to catch. What she stole, it's important. Remember how Lorenzo unafraid of a Skullgirl coming in and busting his ass?
Yeah.
Lorenzo has been the head of the Medici family for like 100 years. That gem is what kept him alive.
Oh
like,
no!
Uses it and like doesn't age, and keeps him from like. And that's why he was so unafraid of the Skullgirl. Like literally, he couldn't die as long as he had that gem. And that's what she stole. So that's why the Medicis are like going crazy at this moment, trying to look for that gem because Lorenzo Medici is about to fucking die. We actually see Lorenzo talk to Eliza, and both before, like not with Eliza, we see him. He looks like a proper like dude, a little, and then Eliza sees him. Gem has, and he's just he's just like dying constantly. He has an iron lung. He's like all balding and everything. This happened around like a week before the game. Miss Fortune stings. She escapes and promises to take on the Medicis. She actually partners up with Irvin, Big Band's former like companion police officer, to take down the Medicis. Irvin has become a private investigator, and Miss Fortune and her are trying to expose the Medicis and like try to do it. And Irvin's like using her as a way to help her and bring them down. They're kind of working together now. Irvin's a cool dude, but yeah. Miss Fortune's immortal, no matter how hard you slice her up, she will come back. She can't die, and because she ate the gem, the only way of getting it back is like opening her stomach and getting it. So it's not ideal to fight an immortal person and try to incapacitate a person that no matter how much you slice it up, she will always like come back.
It's a tough fight.
It's a tough fight.
Yeah.
But what if you compact her?
Yeah, actually, that's actually relevant. If you compact her into a stone, she will become a life stone. She does give up the same energy. In Cerebell Ascending, she does that to her. She kills her and makes her a stone. She like uses her hands to like compact her into a stone and gives the gift. Like she pulverizes her and turns him into a diamond. Turns her whole thing into a diamond and like.
Wait, are you telling me Cerebella's arms are strong enough to put enough pressure into something to turn it into a diamond?
Her level 3 super is grabbing a stone, throwing it at the air, and punching it so hard it becomes a diamond and throws it.
Holy shit! That's more pressure than a black hole. What the fuck? That's more pressure than there is in fucking space.
Vice versa is a pretty strong arms. I gotta say, yeah.
It's pretty strong.
Yeah. I mean, we see it casually leave like 2, you know?
That'll fucking, like, Cerebella should just put her fucking hand around any, like, just one grab move and anything is fucking dead.
It's a fighting game. But yeah, Vice versa is pretty strong. Vice versa is a pretty strong thing. Cerebell is no joke. None of these characters are kind of like no jokes. They're all pretty powerful dudes. But yeah. I mean, they have to be fighting people like Cleopatra with blood bending techniques. So you know.
Yeah.
Blood bended Cleo.
Yeah.
Next slide.
Yeah. That's just her thing. She's running around the city trying to stop the midi. That's her deal now.
Alright, slide 22. What? That's not a picture. Image could not be loaded.
Yeah.
What? Which one?
The Philia.
Philia.
You can see the poster for it?
Barely.
I can see the poster fine, but I can't see it.
I'll delete the other one then. Okay, just delete it on yours if that's fine. Yeah. If you can see it, I'll send it later. She's just how Philia looks, but you can see it in the poster anyway. But yeah. 6 months after Philia adopts Samson and Doug, they kind of become like good friends. Samson likes Philia, and Philia has learned to cope with having a talking dog in her house. Her dads are like, yeah, you're cool, whatever. You're protecting our daughter, so you're family now. Good job. Her dads are like actually, her parents are like really cool people. They're like really, you know. But yeah. Unfortunately for Philia, very recently Carl has gone missing, and she's looking for her with the help of Sansom. But the night before she heads out to look for her again, unfortunately, some mysterious girl barges in her house, claiming to be the Skullgirl, and she's here to take down the Medici family. However, Sansom and Doug are like barely able to fend her off before Philia can explain to like, yo, we are not even related to them. Please don't kill us. We don't wanna, like, we aren't related to that family business. Please don't kill us. And the Skullgirl's like, okay, you aren't the people I'm looking for. Bye. She just kind of leaves.
She fucking leaves.
Yeah, she's like, you're not worth my time. Samson and Doug are like really beaten up because of it, because it's the Skullgirl. And what do you call it? And well, then the Medici family comes over. One of the heads of the Medici family comes over and talks to Philia's dad, and he mentions that he foolishly mentions that the Skullgirl has and they seen her. And then the head of the Medici family is like, wait, you seen the Skullgirl that's killing all our people? The gem that Lorenzo needed, it's been stolen. Only we knew about it. You are a Medici person that's not been related to her for a while. And he's like, no, they're traitors. Fucking kill them. They betrayed us and they working for the Skullgirls. They stole everything. They want to take us down. And they ruthlessly, they start firing on everyone. Doug and Sansom are too beaten up because of the Skullgirl, and are too beaten up because of their fight with the Skullgirls to defend them. Doug dies in this process, leaving Sansom to be unable to fight. He gets killed, and so are Philia's parents. Yeah, the dog dies.
God damn it! Why is the dog gotta die?
Rip.
Rip.
Doug dies trying to defend Philia, and they manage to keep Philia alive, but she's heavily injured. And at the last-ditch effort, Salmon had promised to never bond with a human. As far as I remember, he mentions this. It's never explained why. But he bonded with. He takes a last-ditch effort to save Philia's life, and she bonds with her. In the process, unfortunately, due to the head trauma she had faced, she does lose her memories and suffers from amnesia. And she wakes up and doesn't remember anyone. Only that Sansom, and Sansom abstains from telling her the truth in order to not hurt her, basically. Sansom is kind of a good guy, but also he's not morally good, a good person. He's not like Leviathan, where Leviathan's just a cool dude. Well, Philia, because he doesn't want Phil hurt, that's how he justifies it to himself. But also Philia's first instinct is, wait, the Skullgirl exists, I remember that. Let's use it to wish for my memories back. And Sansom is like, well, being the host of a Skullgirl will be really fucking good.
It would be really cool though.
It would be really
so
lucrative.
He's like, doesn't tell her because of it. Sansom's not a cool dude. The parasites are not really that good people, except Leviathan. Leviathan's not a cool person. Leviathan's a cool dude. He's the only one that's fully honorable. Sansom's not a full-on good guy. He's just kind of you feed me, I care for you, but it will be really cool if I got to be the host. Fucking do that. That sounds cool. I'm not gonna tell you shit. Sansom's not a perfect person. It's very much implied. Actually, Leviathan and Sansom meet up, and Leviathan sees, Leviathan Squiggly and Philia are talking, and Leviathan sees Sansom. They know each other because all parasites are mildly related. They also know Segment too. They find Eliza. They all know each other, and they know that the Crimson Scourge is there, but they're freaking. Leviathan calls out Sansom, that Sansom is manipulating Philia into becoming the Skullgirl, and they have a fight because of it. It's cool. Leviathan's a cool dude. He's the only good parasite, really, that we've seen in the series. The only one that fucked up or morally great.
Yeah.
He's the only.
I mean, when you're a fucking ancient being with unlimited power, then why would you be good?
Samson doesn't fucking care about he cares about Philia because she helped him survive, and she needs him to survive. And also, Doug was dead, so it's kind of implied that the only reason why Philia is because Philia was the only other host available. Doug was dead, and parasites, unlike Leviathan, they jump to they need to jump. They immediately jump to the next host after they die with almost no attachment. So once you're an immortal being, one host becoming a scholar will be sure, let's fucking do that.
Hey, being a parasite is not it's just give and take.
Yeah, you can see in the thing, her hair is now Samson. She uses Samson,
and her design is improved infinity.
So he doesn't possess the hair, or does he replace the hair?
The hair itself is Samson.
Okay.
And her design is improved by 1,000,000.
Wait. If he's Samson from the Bible, then Samson was the dude, not the hair.
It's the reference to the hair thing. It's a reference to the hair. Like what I meant with in Skulgirls, the parasites are the biblical things. Like the myths of the thing are like because of it. Like Samson's hair being cut off is
they aren't the actual thing. They influenced it.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Like Leviathan isn't a giant. It's like kind of like it's that version of the myth.
I was gonna say, if it was actually him, then wouldn't he be dead because the sin was the haircut itself?
I think the reason why they went with Samson here and the myth of Samson was because they cut off the hair and they removed the power, which Samson is the hair. So if they cut off your hair, but Samson's really strong, so you can't really just cut the hair. Samson's
yeah, it'll say Samson let the lady cut his hair.
Oh, I mean, I meant like in this universe thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
Like yeah. So yeah, Philly is now a complete amnesiac, and Samson's manipulating her into wishing for the skull heart. And he justifies it as like, well, her past's really tragic, so I don't want her to know. Fucking find the skull heart and like wish for it. I can't stop her.
What am I supposed to do?
Do you know anything about Saga?
I couldn't tell him.
Oh, he's like full on in the yeah, cool. Let's fucking get that skull heart. He doesn't say it, but he's like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Like Leviathan calls him out on it when they meet, stuff like that. Samson's not a strong at all.
What about like Sagan like turning into a bike and stuff?
Like Sangan doesn't appear to have much of a personality, a difference from the other ones.
I mean, considering Sangan is like kind of like a doll.
Yeah, I think the parasite possessed the doll. However, I forgot to mention the eye patch that Annie has. If she removes it, you can see like the same thing that Sangan. That's because that's the link between them. That's how she. Yeah, and that's how she controls him, and that's how she influences. Annie's also with the parasite, or the parasite is in the doll. Either way, Sangan doesn't appear to have much of a personality. It also doesn't help that we didn't see Sangan speak or do anything, because Annie only appears as a supporting character for Beowulf, and her backstory is given in other material. So, and Annie's cool, but she unfortunately, because she's not a playable character, we
don't know
anything. She doesn't get that much of a spotlight in this game.
It's a shame.
Yeah, her design's pretty cool.
Next slide.
Ooh, what's that? What?
Yeah.
Who will that be? I gotta say, one thing I fucking adore about the design of the Skullgirls, they all have, once a person becomes a Skullgirl, one of the telltale signs is the eyes become red, and the irises become skulls, if you can see it in there. Like, there's a line in it that forms a skull in their eyes. That's a really cool thing. I like that. I like the design. But
next slide.
Next slide. Ooh. We're getting to the end here, actually. Yeah.
Pinwheel.
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 So, remember how Philia's friend Carl disappeared?
Yeah.
Remember that person, the anti Skullgirls, the anti Skullgirls lab. The anti Skullgirls lab kidnap. Carl had a bad moment of at the wrong place at the wrong time. She was involved she was the person that they kidnapped, unfortunately. She was taking in because she had the profile of it, and Brain Drain and the leader of Lab Zero's Brain Drain took over just wanted to make a magnum opus. He somehow got blood from the previous Skullgirl, which is what do you call it? Parasol's mom, Queen Nancy, and was experimenting on it. Carol got experimented upon it by brain drain with no regards for her psyche, under the pretense that she will make the most powerful weapon to kill Skullgirl, which she kind of is. So he wasn't wrong about it. It's fucked up that he did, but he wasn't wrong.
It's fucked up, but I mean, it worked.
It's also like you can kind of like see the mental gymnastics in it, but it's also like a conclusion. Like if you see, like if you told me Godzilla was gonna come in 7 years, there will be people that will like, and they told you like you have to grab this kid off the street and like turn him into a living weapon, but he will 100% destroy Godzilla. Like there will be people that will like, yeah, fuck that. Let's
fuck that kid.
Yeah,
fuck that kid.
Infect them with as many parasites as needed. Also, or you haven't gone to it yet, but like the parasites they use are, instead of like being living things, they're items.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that part.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. The labs have found a new experimental thing, which is creating synthetic parasites, which is combining technology and like blood of the Skullgirl and other materials found in parasites that make objects bond with the person, so they can manipulate it via their own thing. They become one with the person. They're called synthetic parasites. They're fucked up, and the process to get to it is really painful. It's painful than a normal parasite, and it's much more deadly. But they're experimental at best. Painwheel is infused with the blood of the Skullgirl to raise her, because the parasites are infused with that same energy. The artificial parasites are created by the same way, and also to boost her power. This process is really painful and ends up destroying her psyche. She becomes and the pain, the constant pain, is makes her go insane of the process. She has two weapons on her. One's Guybolg, and the other one's Bluefire.
Hey,
Bluefire makes her so. Guybolg.
Why is everybody use Guybolg as an attack?
Because it's cool.
It is cool.
It's not even, they don't even use it right. Like in Fate, it's like in Fate. It's sorry.
In case you haven't noticed, in the picture, I'll send a picture of Painwheel later. She has a pinwheel on the back, and that's Guybolg. That's her weapon.
You know what? To be fair, that's in. It's a little more like. I haven't seen the Guybolg used accurately, or at least an accurate depiction of it. I haven't. The Guybolg is like you're supposed to kick it, and it does like a bunch of needles and stuff.
It does that. Don't worry about it.
Wait, it does do that. Don't worry. Berserker or Avenger.
Yeah, shush.
I find it interesting that the synthetic ones are weapons and tools from mythology rather than the actual mythological beings. I find that interesting.
It's a Wheel of Fate. It's also a pinwheel.
Yeah.
What she does, she also equipped with another parasite, and you can see she has needles all around her. Her parasite can turn the pain she feels and her blood into blades coming out of her arms.
That's more accurate.
And make her more powerful. And that's it's pretty metal, but it's also like fucked up to do that to a teenager.
Nah.
No, you've never been. No one's ever come up to you like, "Hey kid,
I'd be down for that."
Guybolg?
Oh no, man. She didn't ask for this, and she just
yeah, but like it's a good gift. If she didn't want it, she could just return it.
The mask is stitched on her face, so she doesn't remember who she is, so she can't see her face. That's also a thing.
Are we moving on to the next what?
So she can't see her face and remember her face. She can rip and she tries to rip it off in some. she's fucked beyond measure.
It's kind of you know.
She's become more like a weapon kind of person.
That makes sense because her parasites are just utilities rather than the beings.
But yeah. It's that's just kind of like the way to prove that the end. She's kind of like the main point and center of why the antis aren't like fully the good guys because they do shit like this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she sometimes has episodes when she remembers her, but that's mostly like numb by the pain of like being in constant pain, you know. Because brain, you know, it hurts. Speaking of synthetic parasites, next slide.
Next slide.
Next slide.
Hey, it's my favorite one. It's Peacock.
Who?
My favorite. It's Peacock.
I like Peacock.
I hate her already.
She's not
She has a gun.
I like Peacock.
I like Peacock.
I like her rubber hose animation style.
Mm-hmm. She's based around rubber hose animation. Actually, she was created at Lab 8. She's actually Patricia Watson, the other girl that was found in the raid, in the hostage situation. She, due to the process of due to how injured she was, she had to be put through 2 parasites, one synthetic and another one to replace her arms, which were cut off during the situation, and the other one to give her new eyes, since she lost. They got Patricia got fucked pretty badly by the Medicis as an example. Yeah.
Pretty fucked up.
She doesn't. She also has a metal denture to replace her teeth. She doesn't have teeth anymore. The Medicis weren't fucking around at that stage. It's fucked up. She's also 13 years old, so again, Medicis are not the best of people.
It could be worse. It could be worse.
Let me come on with them.
What's her parasite?
Yeah, you could be Painwheel, badass, strongest superhuman.
Oh, it's Argus? I don't know who that is.
She has 2 parasites actually. The first one are her arms, which are what give her name, Peacock. When she extends them, the eyes shoot laser beams that emit anti-Skullgirl, that emit like anti-Skullgirl energy. She pulls her arms and like multiple eyes come out of it.
Oh,
like, she
fuck
can
yeah!
extend her arm, and like that, and they look like a peacock's what do you call it, feather, and that's why she's named Peacock. That's her main thing. She launches lasers, and the second parasite she has is the Avery unit, which if you move on to the
Next slide.
that little bird she has in there connects to her eyes and replaces her eyes. She sees through the bird, not through her eyes, and the eyes are actually black. Their eyes are actually portals that let her like transport stuff that she stores in it, both in the bird and her. Like the bird can do it too, and she can. That's to explain her rubber hose cartoon power. But yeah,
Look at how she's the best. Look at her.
Also has access to all of Lab 8's because of the bird. She stored a bunch of like living weapons in Lab 8, which are her goons. They call her boss and like defend her. These are the characters. She can summon them in battle.
Is that an 8 bomb?
The big gun is like Larry. They have like common names. They're like Andy, Larry. I think Tom's the big weight. Yeah, stuff like that. Patricia, however, being 13 and dealing with a lot of trauma, she's kind of like fully into the look at me, I'm a giant. Like she's really powerful. It's between the most powerful people. It's kind of in between Painwheel and Peacock. fortunately, Peacock didn't go insane during the process. She kind of went insane during torture, maybe? It's kind of implied that that's the case. Because she acts like very cartoony, she tries to she makes a lot of jokes and stuff like that. But,
You know.
it's okay.
Yeah, suffering, trauma, hey.
I told you this was. I told you this series was full of stuff. None of these characters have good families or non-tragic backstories. I didn't realize it until I was right.
No backstory is non-tragic unless you're Beowulf.
Beowulf's Beowulf's the one that got it off the best, I think. Yeah.
He really is.
Everyone else kind of like.
This was a lot darker than I expected it to be.
Skullgirls is pretty.
I like the mythology stuff though.
If I'm being
Also, I
honest
looked
with
it
you, I
up.
thought that it
Argus
was
is-
called Skullgirls because everyone's just, like the girls and they're called Skullgirls, not they fight Skullgirls.
That's fair. That's fair. It's a common assumption. It is in plural, so. Well, it's called like that because a majority of the cast at the end, they defeat the Skullgirl, they get the Skull Heart, and they make a wish, so they become Skullgirls.
Except for Beowulf. Screw Beowulf.
No, Beowulf destroys the heart with Grendel's arm.
Fuck yeah!
We need
Fuck yeah!
opportunity. We need equal opportunity Skullgirls.
Beowulf is a real hero.
Grendel, in Beowulf's ending, Grendel is trying to come back to life, but Beowulf talks him out of it, and the arm and him destroy the arm. destroy the skull heart with a single punch.
Oh yeah.
And
Does
he's
that
like,
mean it
And they
ends the
save
cycle?
the fucking universe.
the skull heart reappears, whether it's destroyed or not.
Oh man.
It's like,
I was gonna
hey,
say-
every 7 years, Beowulf goes out, finds the skull heart again, and then breaks it.
Big
He
Ben
becomes
does it.
his savior.
But Big Ben, that's what Annie does too. That's what Annie has been doing. She kills the Skullgirl and then destroys the skull heart twice for another 7 years. There's no better way of dealing with it. Keeping it will only eventually cause people to become a Skullgirl because of the temptation of the wish, or people will want to stick it out. It appears every 7 years that there is this, so it's not like 7 years specifically. But all of the times that that we know of in history, it's been destroyed immediately afterwards. But it's kind of implied that there have been times where they keep it around and it ended up anyways. So might as well destroy it. Because why would you want to keep it around even?
Yeah.
It's only gonna.
Still, Beowulf's a fucking hero.
Big Ben also does that in his story mode. He just tubas it to the other dimension. Yeah.
I had to look it up. The Argus is a titan with multiple eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why she has multiple eyes on her arms, which is also a way that she can see. But yeah, Peacock's kind of brash about it, and she's shortly before the beginning of the game, her plan was to take down them because of what they did to her, and because of her friend Marie, who, as far as she knows, died during it. They were the two people that were considered casualties during that situation. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think we should change it because the next.
Are you sure? Because Peacock.
The next part of the lore is kind of more. No, this song isn't.
Yeah, why? I'm sure it's appropriate.
We're done with Peacock, anyways.
I'm shocked. You put on a better song then. You think of a better song to put on then.
Okay.
Oh, this is it. I briefly went insane to this.
Did you?
We replayed it a bunch of times. We played it for half an hour once. So yeah. Okay,
I don't know why you would feel this is inappropriate.
because I know what's coming next.
I'm sure it's fine. Nothing a little fucking elbow grease couldn't fix.
A little elbow grease.
Oh, grease
Nothing a bit of duct tape and some gumption couldn't fix.
and some vinegar and.
The next slide, Hombre.
Yep.
Alright.
So good.
Hey, it's the girl, it's the doctor one.
Yeah, Valentine.
Yeah.
It's the doctor.
Whoa, what the? She's got.
Okay.
Oh,
Her name's Nurse Valentine. She's actually really cool. She's a nurse ninja. When the new Skullgirl this time around appeared, the first responders, the first person to detect her were the Last Hope, and they did their job to try to do reconnaissance, but the Skullgirl managed to detect them, and they were trying her best. This Skullgirl was really strong, and it added on to it. She was guarded by a somehow shapeshifter that played with them. One by one, all of the Last Hope goes down, leaving all of the Last Hope goes down, trying to defeat the Skullgirl with her last of their breath, until only Valentine remains. Miss Patty and Easter remain to try to distract the shapeshifter, but they both get destroyed shortly after. Hallow takes a skeleton. Hallow sacrifices herself to save Valentine, and Christmas decides, because the Skullgirl was reviving a whole skeleton army, stay behind and try to defeat as many skeletons as she can, because they know they're not going to win. Whilst Valentine tries to defeat the Skullgirl one-on-one. If anyone has Valentine was regarded as the most trained one, the most best fighter. So they sent Valentine alone because the other person couldn't do it. They all die except Valentine, who gets beaten by the Skullgirl. But the Skullgirl offers her one last chance, and that's to join her and give her information on the anti. And she does take this offer to save her life. She grabs all of the weapons of the past of the rest of the members of the Last Hope, and she uses it now. She has syringes, she has the IV bag, the horse bags, and everything, and her moveset now, and she's kind of the only person. However, throughout the game, depending on which route you play, she's either playing a triple agent Revolver Ocelot game, or she's kind of stuck in there because she doesn't wanna. I think the intention is that she's playing a triple agent. In her ending, actually, she has the most interesting wish of them all. She says she's gonna play Reconnaissance for the other team for a bit, and she wishes to become the Skullgirl, so she can know how it feels like, so she can give people pointers on how to defeat her later on. She's really cool.
That's alright.
Adam disconnected, by the way.
Oh no.
Adam do be gone.
Adam do that a
Adam
lot.
to be back though.
Adam do he be back? Adam, say something. Come on.
Come on, give us a little word.
Come on. Oh, come on, what the fuck?
Nerd.
We're fucking nerds. Imagine not saying anything in this voice call.
Yeah, voice call.
Yeah, could you imagine not saying words in this voice call?
In this voice call.
Imagine.
Words.
Imagine.
Who could? What kind of person would ever do that?
It's almost as if we're calling them out right now.
Okay, I'm gonna. So yeah, she wishes for that in her ending. Yeah, Valentine's kind of working with both of them. She's giving information on to them. So because she's one of these. She's giving information on the anti-Skullgirl labs to the Skullgirl, so she knows where to attack and where they are. Abilities are hidden around the place. in most of the story modes, Lab 8, which is the one with Dr. Avian, gets destroyed, but Big Bad and Peacock survive, and a couple other anti-Skulgirls weapons, but they're severely crippled because of Valentine's betrayal throughout the story. But yeah, Valentine's there either playing her own agenda or just trying to survive out of desperation. But yeah,
Was she cool?
that's Valentine. She's cool. she has a really cool move, and I actually main Valentine for a while. So I really like her style. She's like really mobile and shit. Because she's a ninja. She has a really cool move where she puts you in a corpse bag, throws you up in the sky, Isuna drops you into an operating table, and then like does shit to you, and like you only see the curtains, and then like a flash, and then it's
cuts you up.
Yeah. And then the whole operation room is bloody and the person goes flying. She does really cool shit. They really do a lot with the concept of like ninja nurse. She like throws syringes around that poison you or like drain your meter, stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah. Next slide.
Next slide.
Who's this?
Next slide. That's this nun lady. It's Iris.
What is the?
It's Iris. There she is.
Allow me a sec. For the proper one.
Oh, what? I'm sure this nun has nothing to do with the story whatsoever.
Yeah, nothing about a nun being mentioned.
The nun is not important at all. Why?
Never mentioned.
Never.
Mentioned.
Never.
Never.
No.
You don't read.
9.
Readings for pussies.
Okay. So, we get to the big reveal lower part of the portion of this conference. Okay. To start with, there's always been this mysterious figure around in all the myths of a person thing. There's always a person that gives the person the skull, and that ends up corrupting them or becoming the Skullgirl. In all the myths, in all the recorded history, the way that they acquire the skull heart is known. Double, and the nature of the skull heart is also known. However, throughout the game, you find out what the nature of the skull heart is, and it was created by divine powers, 3 goddesses in this universe. However, one of the goddesses got banished away from her daughters, as far as I remember. That's the thing. Yeah, and so she created a skull heart to end the world. The skull heart's objective is to end reality. The legend and everything was a lie created and spread around just to make people do their wish. It always will corrupt the wish made upon it to make a person a Skullgirl.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What a fucking asshole.
It's always made to be a dick.
The skull heart is a constant in this universe. It can never be stopped, and it will not stop until all of reality is dead in this thing. Nobody knows about this. They mostly don't know about the skull heart or about the goddesses. However, one person does, or well, calling it a person is not appropriate. It's more one thing knows about it. All of this, a hidden puppeteer behind a curtain, who is a shapeshifter that can take any form at any time. Immortal, unemotional, uncaring. It takes the form. It can take the form of any people and anything in order to manipulate and set up the next Skullgirl in this universe. if you remember, the mysterious stranger that gave Celine the skull heart, that was this person. The nun that convinced Queen Nancy into making her wish was this person, and the person that she even manipulated a new person into becoming this time around, a really powerful one with a wish, with a apparent vendetta against the Medicis. That person is next slide.
Next slide. Oh, it's a maid.
A maid.
She's my favorite design of the game.
Look, I love maids. Maids are awesome. Look at that design.
I fucking love her design. She's
That's
really
a spine vacuum, isn't it?
She is a freaking skeleton vacuum.
I really love her design. She's really fucking.
Yeah, it looks cool. Look at her ribs.
I always knew maids were the most powerful in the world.
She's got floating arms.
She also has Dust Rabbit's skulls, if you can see that.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's cool. Anyways, yeah, I really love her design. I love the design.
It's really good. Look at her.
Yeah. Next slide.
Next slide. Oh shit! It's a GIF.
A GIF.
That's how you
I
know.
like this design so much. I fucking had to put on a GIF. I fucking adore Marie. I adore her design. She's my favorite. She reminds
me of that one Toho character. You know the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the one.
We've all seen her. You know the one.
She exists. We know her.
I think, yeah, it's the one who gets stop time.
We know the one.
We know the one. You know what? You know the one.
But yeah. This is Marie. If you remember, she's a friend of Peacock, and the only other person to be considered a casualty during the Medici hostage situation. Well, what happened was she managed to get away in between before dying, and she was rescued by a nun, taking in a nun which was secretly double, which is the form of the person who wants to convince her into coming. Her wish was to throw revenge into all of the Medici and burn them to the ground. Which, if you take into account the moment her wish was made, that will kind of also make sense in the in the runaround way of how the life gem that was the light of the Medicis was stolen. So it's kind of like in that weird way. She's now Skullgirl. She's bringing out our army of undead. With every person that dies becomes part of it. She's setting up. She has help of she has help of a former member of the Anti-Skullgirl Labs, and an eldritch being of immortal power. In order to fulfill her wish, she wants to avenge Patricia, because as far as she knows, she's dead. She didn't see her being taken away, and yeah, she wants to take down the Medicis. That's her job. In one part of the game, in a couple of routes, she grabs Medici Tower with her bare hands and throws it at a blimp, which the Medici were using to run away.
Jesus fuck!
She's fucking strong. Skullgirls are world-ending shit. Which is scary when any girl can become a Skullgirl. You know, she's been kind of doing that deal. In most story modes, she gets God. That's about it. That's about everyone's backstory. Every character.
Is there another slide?
That's the ending one. Of Squiggly.
Thanks for listening. We did it, guys. That's Skullgirls.
That's Skullgirls.
That's all. So all the lore of Skullgirls. Yeah, it's basically that, except it's basically that.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my push to talk thing is stuck. I'm not pushing the thing to talk. It's stuck. You guys could hear my button mashing, maybe.
Whoa.
one of my favorite things about Skullgirls OST, they have a really good song that's actually, if you read the lyrics from the perspective of heart, trying to coerce the girls into wishing for it. It's fucking...
Isn't it, it's not Moonlight Melee, which one is it? Out of time, something with time. Yeah, Moment's Time.
Make a wish, dog. I'm a Skullgirl. Get
Yo.
power.
It become a Skullgirl. It is not the way. It's nothing. No, what could possibly go wrong?
Like, sure, the entire world will hate you
Conclusion
for
of the
time
story.
that you're
Play
alive.
Skullgirls. It's cheap and it's good and it has fun lore. Play Skullgirls.
Hombre, you got. Hombre, what's you got? I mean, supplementary materials.
There are two characters that are...
Thank you, Lemon.
There are two characters that I didn't mention, but they're joke characters, and I didn't want to, they're a joke on the play, they're using the shoujo trope, which is, how Ryo has Ken and Sub-Zero has Scorpion and shit like that.
Yeah.
So they are a Recolor which is non-canon.
All right.
The Recolor which is non-canon. In her story mode, she at the end discovers that she's Philia's nightmare, and they make a joke about 2 ends with Mario waking up. They do that with Philia, and that's it. And they use the same style on it. It's cool. Her name is Fuqua. She's obsessed with becoming Philia, and she's obsessed with killing Philia and then wearing her skin. Philia.
Jeez.
That's not. Yeah.
She's just a clone of Philia, so she wants to be the original one. It's a play on the clone. He doesn't play at all like Philia, by the way. But yeah. And then there's Robo Fortune, which is a joke card. Except her ending's kind of fucking scary. Robo Fortune is Miss Fortune Recolor, which is a robot that it's created by brain drain after Valentine's kind of thing. Valentine sees Miss Fortune and sends brain drain like a report. And he's like, "Fuck that shit! I can create something cooler," and makes a robot version of her. It's like robot guy. And she shoots lasers and has satellite heads, stuff like that. In her ending, actually, she managed to clone herself so much because she beats the Skullgirl and wins. Braindon is like, fuck yeah, let's make 100 of them. And that turns out bad for humanity. They take over humanity and they make giant mechs, and the only people there in the ending are Umbrella and Annie of the Stars fighting against 1 million mechs in It's fucking cool. 1 million Sentinel type giant robots of Robo Fortune. It's fucking cool. It's just the two of them. Parasol died and only Umbrella and Annie of the Stars are left in the world.
So it's basically Chronicles of Darkness Bad End.
Umbrella.
There she is.
Yeah.
She's adorable.
What's that, Hombre?
Got a big hat.
That was the lyrics. Yeah.
You got an umbrella like her big sister.
The last stand of humanity, it's fucking cool. It's fucking cool because you see Annie with her sword's made out of literal meteorite and star energy for some reason. And she fucking I think we see her slice one of the robots in half with just a swing, and he's fucking strong.
Fucking meteor sword, man.
Fucking look for it.
It's very cool. Well, when's the Ergs v Skullgirl tournament? When's that taking place?
Soon.
Well, I have to practice and actually figure out how to play the game first.
No.
So.
No practice. Zero practice.
No one gets to learn. Oh, we're not supposed to practice. I've been practicing this whole time.
Delete the
Am I
game.
disqualified?
Delete the game right now.
Delete it. Gone.
Gotta rebuy it.
It's not like it costs a lot.
That's how it looks. That's how Sangan looks.
Oh
by the way.
yeah, my PlayStation Store glitched out, and it gave it to me for free. I bought it, and then like things glitched out, and it gave me my money back.
Oh fuck yeah. That's so dumb. Look at that.
Look at that shit.
Look at that shit.
Nice.
Like Big Bang.
Let's get a big hand for Big Ben.
Why does Slippy get to play Beowulf?
Why do I get to play Beowulf?
Okay.
Double Beowulf.
This is good. Double Beowulf.
No, I want to play Peacock.
We all get to play Beowulf. Everyone gets to play Beowulf at least.
Beowulf only round.
Wait, Eliza has DO colors?
She
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
I've seen them before.
Hell yeah!
Big Ben is Jotaro colors. That's sad.
This game just keeps getting better by the
I
second.
like how
Actually, in the Eliza colors, Eliza has in the DO colors. Eliza has two servants, Horus and Horus, who is Horus. It's a giant eagle man, a buff eagle man, and Albus, who is obviously Anubis. He's a dog man, and they become the shade of the world in.
That's dope. I love that.
I like how Big Band can straight up play Jotaro's theme.
Oh yeah, no, you can tell. He has a whole.
Any other?
If you don't own a PlayStation and want or like literally any other console, it's even on Switch now. Skullgirls is on Switch. It came out recently on Switch.
Skullgirls launch party 2012 ongoing.
Hey, hashtag
There's
Mother
like
3,
no
there we go.
excuse not to get it now.
No excuse not to get it.
Skullgirls launch party from 2012 to ongoing. The launch party is still going.
Yeah, no, Skullgirls is really cheap, and it's a really big community. Here's Annie's last stand. She's leading all of humanity in her last stand against the machines, and it's fucking cool. She has magical girl shit, fucking cool, and it's really fucking cool.
Do they win?
No, it's implied they don't.
What they fought.
Oh no, my girl.
There's a million robots. It's like Terminator future.
I can't believe they didn't vote the fucking very old Lolly to be fucking. I'm very disappointed.
I bet if she was playable, they would have won.
Yeah. I bet if they voted her to be fucking playable, they would have won.
Is there any ending that ends the Skullgirls cycle?
No. No. It's kind of like the whole point of it is that there's no way to end it. It's fucked.
You said that the company that made it are still actively supporting the game, right?
Yeah. They still do updates regularly.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, Skullgirls launch party 2012 ongoing.
Yeah, they put the.
It'll never end. Who needs a Skullgirls 2 when the game is literally never going to end?
Wait a second, does that mean that the mecha ending is the best ending because the Skullgirls can't end the world because there are no the robots?
The world ends either way. The world ends either way. The skull heart is when it's destroyed. It's like, fuck it, you're gonna end the world anyways. Fuck me. You can fucking do it. I don't care. I don't care who does it if it's done.
No, you're gonna miss me when this is over.
Yeah, good luck dealing with this shit. I'm fucking done.
Annie is great.
I'll see you in 7 years.
She's a magical girl.
I really fucking love Annie. Oh yeah, here's Beowulf's ending. Him and Annie become
all the characters have such good designs.
They do.
In Beowulf's ending, Beowulf makes a comeback after like, and it's fucking cool.
Look at his fucking look at his outfit. Look at his outfit.
Oh, it's a golden chair too.
Jeez, that's insane now. He's moved up in the world.
Beowulf could be anyone, but he loses to his chair. That's great.
Look at
Thank you, Hombre, for making me a Skullgirls fan now.
No problem. I really like Skullgirls. I really want more people to know about it. It's a really cool. It's a good fighting game, but it also has like really interesting. Once you get down, like try to listen to it.
I mean, I have Skullgirls, and I've played it a little bit, but yeah, it was mostly just free battle. It's like, oh, and then just like, hey, I'm gonna go to the online mode. It gets absolutely destroyed. Okay, I'm gonna.
Yeah, you're going against the people that have been there for like centuries.
It's like Titanfall syndrome.
Hombre is the sole Mexican player of Skullgirls.
Sole Mexican player.
In my region, I am. In my region, I was.
Really?
Oh no! Oh no!
He's the Mexican Skullgirls champion.
Oh no!
Top bracket regionally because I'm the only person there.
Wait, are you really?
You're Mexico's last defender.
He has to defend first.
He used to defend Mexico single-handedly against the Skullgirl.
He beat the shit out of the only other person that played Skullgirls in Mexico. And
wait, guys, that means we're here with the regional champion in Mexico.
Oh my god, I can't believe we got the regional Skullgirls champion.
I can't believe we got the regional Skullgirls champion of Mexico here to explain the lore.
I can't believe it.
This is a great honor for Ergsby.
Most of the it's funny because I am the alpha and the omega. Because I'm the one player. I'm last and first player.
The alpha and the omega.
Oh.
That's all that matters.
I just want to see like a picture of Hombre, but he's making that exact Virgil face. Just the.
Peacock has big ass realistic revolver, and that's all I care about.
She's got gun.
She's got gun, and gun is my favorite.
I really like Squiggly too. Annie's my favorite, and I'm really mad because of it. Because holy shit, that would have been cool to see her fight. But you know, she's an indivisible. But you know.
But Indivisible is its own game. That's
South Mexico, please. I'm not Mexico's champion. I'm the south of it. I'm a regional in my stuff, but not.
Hombre is the South Mexican champion of Skullgirls. Oh, is that her backdash?
Soon it's the North and then the world.
I'm just trying for. I was planning on competing at Evo, but no.
Oh yeah, you mentioned Indivisible, which is another Lab Zero game, right?
Yeah, they have.
Is it good?
It's not a fighting game. Well, it's sort of it's a fighting game RPG sorta.
Game. Yeah.
It's not a traditional RPG. It's also kind of.
It's its own thing, I guess.
I played a bit of it. It was kind of
There was also another character that was meant to be playable, which appears in the GIF now that I see her. That's the fish lady. She was rumored to be playable because she's a friend of
Fish lady? Oh, the bug? I thought she was a bug.
No, she's the fish.
Huh.
Another part of the fun is that Big Ben's the dad to every anti-Skullgirls weapon. In Big Ben, he finds Painwheel and takes her in and like tries to help her to deal with her shit. And he's kind of like
that gift of Eliza. That's great. I love animation of flesh like that. Oh, sorry.
He kind of does like a mentor thing where he's like, I'm getting old, but Peacock and Painwheel, if I can help them become good, they'll become the next generation, and I'm cool with that. That's my job now. And he becomes like the parental figure to Peacock and
Big Dad.
Painwheel. Big Dad's a
Big
fucking
Dad.
cool dude.
Big Dad.
Oh,
I need to teach those two girls how to jam.
Fill their dark souls with music.
Also, there's cool moments where Patricia, Peacock, and Mary meet at the end of the story, and they're like, "Dude, you don't have to like do this, you know." She's like, "Dude, I'm gonna avenge everyone. I'm gonna, like, I'm way into I'm way too into this shit. I'm already a Skullgirl. You can't stop me.
But like,
I'm not
come on,
gonna stop."
just chill out.
Yeah, and she's like, "Please don't fucking, like, it will be cool if you don't like forsake your soul in order to like kill people, which is kind of it's kind of hypocritical of Peacock to say, because she was like fully into the parasite juice. Also, Lemon, you're gonna like this.
Yo, like what?
You wanna know what Miss Fortune's name Final Super is?
What is it?
The 5th of December. Because she's
Oh
a
my-
revolution.
Oh my
It's
god.
fucking cool.
Oh my god.
Holy shit!
It's pretty cool.
She grabs you and then explodes and then reassembles within you in there, and that fucking force blows you away. It's cool. Makes that little cat face out of blood. She's cool. The 5th of December.
What is Peacock sending? I need to know.
Peacock defeats Mari, destroys the Skull Heart. She promises Mari that she was gonna finish the started, and she goes on to. And the ending is her walking up to Lorenzo's Medici's office and fighting Black Dahlia in a one-on-one, and that's the ending. She's like going to destroy the fucking Medici family all by herself, gunning solo for it in order to fulfill Mari's wish without ending the. Which was kind of the part we wanted to stop.
Look at her go.
Did I mention that I love
Yeah, I get that the
family.
family are the best, but let's not involve everyone else.
Let's just shoot them ourselves.
I'll help you.
Oh fuck it, I got this gun. Let's shoot them.
Here's the ending. There are the two of them. And
Gun with a fucking knife on it. Gun.